I'll split your head like a rotten melon.
Justin Fargas knows exactly what it's like to have his show canceled. Coming out of high school in 1998, he was considered the nation's top running back and even gained 120 yards in his 5th game as a Michigan freshman.
There's a new sheriff in town in Michigan.
To re-break the leg.
My whole life is just about being able to endure different situations and different obstacles that come up.
That's what Huggy Bear did.
Todd Williams never had much to begin with. And when his grandmother died and less than a week later his father was murdered, Todd Williams was left with nothing. He was 14.
My mom had her own stuff going on. I know now she was like in and out of trouble. So foster care people came and were like, we're gonna give you a week to try to come up with some people who could take care of you. We're gonna come and get you. And I was young, like, man, I'm not going no foster care.
And so he ran.
I just went to a friend. We stole a car and just went to Miami. Anywhere I laid my head, that's where I live. Whether it be in a broken door of a hotel, behind a dumpster, or in a car that I stole or whatever. I didn't care. Start doing all sorts of stuff. Committing crimes, robbing people, beating people up, breaking and burglarizing people's houses, going into restaurants, saying we're gonna order food, eat the food, snatch tips and run.
And you never understood that that was wrong?
I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't understand it was wrong, I just didn't care. But at that point, I just felt that I felt like the world owed me something. And through all this, I was gonna get back, and this is my way of letting it all out. And I knew it was wrong. I was just so bitter, and I didn't care. I just felt like the world had let me down because I was on rock bottom.
Wish I was too dead to care, if indeed I cared at all.
Williams spent months in and out of juvenile detention centers.
I have no grasp of hope. There was no light at the end of the tunnel.
But there was perhaps an unwitting glimmer on New Year's night in 1994. On his way to rob an apartment, he stopped to watch the Florida State-Nebraska Orange Bowl.
I caught a glimpse on TV, and I was like, man, I wonder what it would be like to play in front of all those people. Then a couple guys chuckled, like, hey, you don't even have a place to live, much less play football. And for Coach Bowden, you wouldn't even know how to act around them kind of people. Hey, come on, don't even dream like that. One time in juvenile, one of the coaches, one of the dudes that advisors, whatever, he was a coach at a high school. So I was like, man, I bet you if I got out of here, I could play some high school football. He looked at me like, man, they're not looking for criminals, they're looking for players.
But Williams began to think that perhaps he could be a player. Now 16, he had grown to 6'3".
I got to the point where, man, I'm tired of checking in the probation officers, going to court in shackles, begging people, mom, to come sign me out of juvenile and lying, saying that they're my parents. So when I get out, I'm right back by myself from day one again. I want to do something.
Eventually, he was sent to a halfway house in Tampa.
And that was going to be his last opportunity to really get himself together before going on to the big house.
But even with new resolve, Williams faced a stark reality. When he was released from the halfway house, he still had nowhere to go. So Williams told his probation officer he would be living with a cousin's father at a low-income housing project in Bradenton.
But he never really stayed there. I just found some jobs, and I worked and paid the rent.
But every night you'd come home alone.
I'd come home alone, watch TV, play video games, read my Bible, go to sleep, and it just was the same thing.
He also set out to make the football team.
He came out to our school in the field house before practices his sophomore year and said, I want to play football for Southeast. And I said, okay, you got to have your paperwork in, and let's see if we can get it all together. We'll be ready to have you try out and see how well you can play.
When I made the football team and the coaches started telling me, hey, the sky's your limit. If you'll do this and if you'll do that. If you'll work hard, if you'll go to class, even after football season, if you'll continue to go to class and do what you need to do, this is what can happen.
Gradually, the community began to hear about the young man living on his own.
I know one of the teachers at his, I believe it was his senior year, gotten some information out that there was a student at Southeast who had actually not an active family around. And so for Christmas, they, you know, a lot of people chipped in and got him some neat things for Christmas.
She had orchestrated it to where I was going to be at this certain place for Christmas, eating dinner, and she had a whole bunch of stuff just sent there, like nice shirts, shoes.
He was just stunned, you know, his whole face just lit up. He was like a little kid. I don't know why, you know, why all of us were put in his life, but I would like to say I believe that his grandmother might have been in heaven and saying, take care of my child, you know.
How many people do you call family now?
Well, whoever's not against me is for me. And if you're around me long enough and I begin to care about you, you're like family. Because, I mean, what is family? You know? That's how I look at it.
That's a great testament to the power of college athletics.
The Auburn Tiger Walk. In the midst of unprecedented turmoil, these are the forgotten faces that carry the torch with class and dignity. Brother Bill Oliver has taken over as the man in charge for the moment. The next 2 Saturdays could go a long way in determining his ultimate head coaching fate. But how long will it take to heal the wounds of War Eagle turned War Ugly? Following a coaching shakeup of their own 3 years ago, the Bulldogs' rapid return to prominence under Jim Donnan has been remarkable. In freshman sensation Quincy Carter, they have their quarterback of the present and of the future. And with the ball in the hands of two-way star Champ Bailey, there's an awful lot of fight in these dogs. The renewal of the longest-running rivalry of the South. 18th-ranked Georgia comes to the Plains to take on the Auburn Tigers. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin. Welcome once again to Saturday primetime college football here on ESPN. You know, this crew is extremely lucky. We get to cover some wonderful things about college football as we travel across this country. Then there are times when we run into the inevitable things in this sport that are not quite as fun to cover, and such is the case this week here in Auburn. 22 days ago, Terry Bowden stepped down as the head coach here. Since that time, this Auburn athletic department has been a house divided. Different groups, different factions, if you will, fighting and clawing at each other, gossip being thrown in every direction. And the unfortunate thing about this in the past 22 days is the people who have suffered the most are the young student athletes here at Auburn. They've had to live under a cloud of controversy. Well, our hope is that a compromise will be reached soon. It will be quick, it will be complete, and these youngsters can complete their career at Auburn University as they should, worrying about the books and about the football field and not Southern fried gossip that has tried to destroy this athletic department in the last 22 days. We're here to do a football game, and that we will do tonight. It's the oldest rivalry in the South, the Georgia Bulldogs, featuring the best young freshman quarterback in America, Quincy Carter. And the key that he has to unlock tonight, well, he's got to go up against Bill Oliver, the interim head coach's defense that is number 2 in the Southeastern Conference, and it's number 9 in America. Something's got to give. Mike Godfrey and Adrian Karsten are standing by, and we'll preview more. Tonight's meeting between 18th ranked Georgia and Auburn right after this.
Your investments help pay for this dream house. Unfortunately, it belongs to your broker. With the new E-Trade, the power is in your hands. The #1 rated place to invest online. Now open free to the public with 10 times more research. Free real-time quotes, still from just $14.95 a trade. Sign up now and get $50 free. Hey, now the power's in your hands. E-Trade. Someday, we'll all invest this way.
Okay, buddy, let's see what you got. You're on. How about the loser pays the other's phone bill? It depends. Have you been dialing 10-10-321? You know it. 10-10-321 saves over AT&T on every call. What better way to keep in touch?
Yep, great for all those quick calls to
to Mount Ruth.
And saves me big time on those long ones to Grammy and Phoenix. 50% off calls over 20 minutes.
I hear you. Just dial 10-10-321, then 1 and the number.
It's the only way to do long distance.
Correction, my man. Oh! That's the way you do long distance. 10-10-321.
To capacity, just over 85,000 strong, and you can see the fog and the lights. Maybe a little rain in the forecast tonight. It's damp, but right now we have no rain. Number 18 in the country, Georgia, and here's their two-way star. Champ Bailey is in his last time against the Auburn Tigers. He's only a junior, but some people he is such a good two-way star that he might head to the National Football League next year. Mike Godfrey joins me here on the telecast, and Mike, you know, with all the changes with Auburn as far as the coaching staff is concerned, are they really different? I'm sure people want to know that.
A little different, Ron, but you can't do much. Bill Oliver and the offensive coordinator, Jimbo Fisher, want more imagination in the offense. That means more gadget plays, more deep throws. And the other difference is Gabe Gross is now the quarterback. Gabe Gross is more of a mobile quarterback. He's thrown 5 touchdown passes in 4 starts. They'll sprint him out. But I look for Joe Kynes and the Georgia defensive coordinator to heat him up, try to rattle him early.
After 8 games, Georgia is 6-2. And I have a feeling that if you had asked Jim Donnan about being maybe 6-2 after 8, he probably would have taken that. I think what they're looking for now, Mike, they want a date on January the 1st, a big bowl game.
Well, I agree with you. He's happy to be 6-2, and he's 6-2 because of his quarterback, Quincy Carter. 126 completions out of 199 throws. That's 63%. Going up against a great defense tonight in Auburn. Leonardo Carson, the defensive lineman, will be matched up versus the All-American Georgia tackle, Matt Stinchcomb. Should be a great matchup.
That one will be fun to watch. Bill Oliver. And, of course, he does not stay down on the field. He has maintained his position high up above the stadium as the defensive coordinator. And, of course, he is the interim head coach. And across the way, Jim Donnan. What a success story he has been. 5-6 in 1996, 16-4 since then. Baronis will kick it off. Champ Bailey, one of the deep man, along with Patrick Pass as you look at Baronis. Robert, a sophomore out of Goshen, Kentucky. The 98th meeting between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers is underway as he kicks it out of the back of the end zone. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
All right, Ron, thanks very much. You know, when you have a fight to influence the coaching situation like they do here in Auburn, it's the players, the first to be forgotten. Tell me if they want, they need, in fact, they deserve to have something to say. Not behind closed doors in some meeting room, but out here on this field in front of the nation. And their message is simple. We're going to play as hard as we can for this coaching staff currently or any other coaching staff. To make sure everyone gets our message, we're going to do the best we can to beat Georgia first and then Alabama.
Okay, Adrian, we look forward to hearing from you tonight as usual. First down, they go with one setback, and they're going to throw back to the opposite side to Gary, and he will have a couple, maybe 3 yards in the play. Defensively, Ryan Taylor, the weak side linebacker, comes over to make the tackle. Here are the starters for the Bulldogs. Quincy Carter, Gary, who just caught the pass, and Ronnie Bradley is the other running back. The receivers, Small and Greer. Small, very underrated. Larry Brown, excellent tight end up front. Those 2 tackles are wonderful. Stinchcomb and Terry, and we will talk a lot about them tonight. Miles Lucky, the center, injured about 3 weeks ago, still not quite 100%. There's Champ. The option of the pitch back to Gary. Puts the head down, running tough into Jason Bray, and it's going to be a 3rd down, and they will mark him down at the 24. Defensively for the Tigers, Carson, Dorsey, and Jeff Dunlap. The linebackers, Washington Fields, Tavarius Pounds, and Ryan Taylor. And then the secondary, Bray and Ware are the corners. Nolan and Rob Pate are the safeties. Mike, they're pumped here tonight. This could go a long way as far as a good start for Auburn.
I think Auburn's ready to play, but I also feel Georgia's ready to play, Ron. They've sat 2 weeks. They're waiting for this one.
Carter under the blitz, steps back, gets his pass away, and he has it to his tight end, and that's Brown. And Larry Brown, by gosh, he hurdled the defensive back and takes it all the way to the 49.
And Ron, just to go back to what I said, 2 weeks, they lost to Florida. They've been sitting over there unhappy at Georgia, and they want to come out and prove something tonight again. Quincy Carter does this all on his own with the flick of the wrist. He can't get anything under it. He's drifting backwards, hits Larry Brown, who's wide open.
So a big first down, Georgia. Quincy Carter squeezes it into Bailey right over the middle, and the tackle is made by Ryan Taylor. Second stop for him in the early going of this one. And the Georgia Bulldogs, with that big third down pickup a moment ago, all of a sudden across midfield.
Yeah, it only takes a couple plays, and you see the value of Champ Bailey and Quincy Carter. And I talked about this in the opening, the confidence of Quincy Carter and his completion percentage. He came into this ball game 63%. He is a very accurate thrower.
Gary trying to squeeze in behind the block of Steve Herndon. Leonardo Carson will make the stop on him, and the shortest gainer, but very close to the first down for Georgia. And let's see where they mark it. They needed the 41.
Third one at the 42.
Bailey goes to the sideline. What was it, the LSU game? We had him for, was it 96 plays, Mike?
And Ron, Bill Oliver's expecting him to play more on offense tonight than he has even before.
Wiggins, the tight end, in motion. Here they come with the option. Pitch it back to Garrett. Has 5, has 10, puts the head down, and it's a first down, Georgia, as Jason Bray will come up and make the tackle. But so far, it has not been Georgia guessing as to Brother Oliver's defense. They kind of have Oliver guessing right now.
No, they're dictating tempo right now. Here, it's early in the ball game, but 2 option plays we've seen out of Quincy Carter. Jermaine Wiggins, the tight end, came in motion and got a nice block. Now all of a sudden you see him spreading Auburn's defense out more. No backs.
Gary out of the lineup. They throw the middle screen. Nothing there, so Bailey will turn it upfield, and he'll wind up with a gain of 5, maybe 6 on the play. Larry Casher forces him out.
Even though it's late in the year, Ron, you still see when a team has an open date. They played against Florida, and you sometimes when you play against an opponent you like something you do, you maybe draw a couple more plays on it. That's a no-back set. They saw it against Florida, and they were concerned about the way Florida ran it against them. Now they're running it against Auburn.
Well, I mean, that's smart. If something
hey,
hurts,
you like something,
you like
go with it.
Blitz up the middle, and they hit the tight end, releasing Larry Brown right over the middle, and they're inside the 20-yard line. Ware made the tackle, but right now, after 2 stops on first down and second down, Georgia has made this look easy.
And they looked like they were blitzing on that play, and Brad Ware had Larry Brown man for man, number 87. You're going to see him block right here and then release into the play to make that catch. Brad Ware was just off of him a little bit too far.
And you can see Wiggins blocking downfield for him. Middle screen again. This time it's Tony Small. And I mentioned to you that Small is a guy that does not get a lot of pub. But there is a lot of respect for the defensive coaches from Auburn and a lot of respect from the offensive coaches from Georgia.
Well, when we talked to the Auburn coaches, they said he's the most underrated receiver in the SEC. Echoes what you just said. Very tough receiver, Tony Small.
36 receptions, 514 yards. 10th play of the drive. It's a quarterback draw, and Carter back into the boundary will run it for the first down. It looked as though he stepped out just beyond the marker. Stenchcomb with a nice block on the left side.
And Ron, you can see now that Georgia's settling in to the no-back set. And they're spreading Auburn out, and I think they've got Auburn. I don't say they got them confused, but they got some matchup problems right now. And Quincy Carter's so quick releasing the ball that you can't get to him with the blitz. And all of a sudden, now you just look for matchups. So who do you want to throw the ball to?
Well, look at that, Mike. In 10 plays, averaging 7.1 per play. Straight ahead goes Quincy Carter. Reese at the bottom of the stack, but that is enough for the Georgia first down.
I'm amazed at Quincy Carter. We have had him in a couple ball games. That LSU game, he was on fire. But when I look at him statistically, 10 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, a high completion rank, and a freshman.
12th play of the drive, quarterback draw again. And this time he'll be tripped up at the 5-yard line by Carson. Second tackle for Leonardo with the early going.
And Leonardo Carson, a very good defensive lineman, hasn't practiced much because he's got a knee injury. And last week he made 14 tackles and 2 sacks against Central Florida. Didn't practice last week, but he's up against the All-American tackle, Matt Stinchcomb, number 79.
Lee will have to get some isolations on that before this night is over. Stinchcomb against Leonardo Carson. Second and goal. Movement on the right side. Chris Terry, the big 3-year letterman out of Jacksonville, Florida, 6'5", 285, came out of his stance a little quickly.
Before the ball, half movement by the offensive line, 5 yards, still second down.
Al Ford and his crew, the officials for tonight's ball game here at Auburn. Ball pushed back just beyond the 10-yard line. It will remain second down. You see Coach Donnan with the deep breath, and he put his hands on his hips. It's been a great-looking drive. And then you come down to the 5-yard line on a second and goal, and you jump offside. Carter rolls the pocket, throws. It is tipped and almost intercepted. Casher got a hand on it first.
Larry Casher with a tip. And when you sprint out, and Auburn will do the same thing tonight, you reduce the field. And you reduce it also for your defensive players, and Larry Casher made a good play on that. I think they were trying to get the ball to Michael Greer.
Third down and goal. Now they are moving right into the student section, the noisiest part of the house for the Georgia Bulldogs. Crowd will let you know if they succeed or not. 13th play of the drive. Is it lucky for Georgia? Touchdown, Larry Brown. First touchdown reception of the year for Brown.
And Ron, credit the offensive line for Georgia, because Quincy Carter had all night just to wait for somebody to come clear in the back of the end zone. That was Larry Brown.
Half Hines with the extra point attempt, and he's good. So we'll take a break. As Georgia took the opening kickoff, it took 13 plays, and they drove it right down the field to score. It is the Bulldogs 7, and the Tigers coming to bat.
You can't see anything in a car. You can't see past the guardrails in a car. That's why we only sell trucks.
Look, Mommy, a tugboat. Really? In the water? Yeah.
Not tiny little cars.
Mommy, bird. Wow.
We prefer the view from the look outside and see the world as Suzu Trooper.
Look, Mommy, space.
Because you never know what you might miss in a car.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Fortunately, there's Nasonex nasal spray, an effective nasal allergy prescription medicine taken once a day that relieves sneezing, itchy runny nose, and congestion, indoors and out. Now that's wonderful. Nasonex, what good days are like every day. The most common side effects were headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
It's hard to respect the French when you have to bail them out of 2 big ones in 1 century. But we have to hand it to them on mayonnaise. Nice job, Pierre.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Isuzu, specialized worldwide builders of adventure machines. Isuzu, go farther. And by Nasonex. Welcome back to Auburn, Alabama, 7-0. Georgia took that opening kickoff and just went right down the field. Larry Brown, as you look at the scoring drive, 13 plays, 80 yards. It's his first touchdown of the year. Holloman will kick it off. Cooper and Clifton Robinson, the twin safety. That's Robinson right there, number 15. It's returnable. This is Cooper from the 3. And the kicker has to knock him out of bounds. Across, no, not quite across midfield, around the 46-yard line. Holloman made the tackle, but it's 42 yards on the return. Offensively for Auburn, who will do these quickly. The starter quarterback, as Mike said, a youngster, Gabe Gross. Embry and DeMontre Carter are the running backs. The receivers, Robinson and Bailey. Tankersley is the tight end. And up front for the offensive line, Kubelek is now the center. He is the 7th one that they have had this year. They've really had their injury problems in the middle of the offensive line. Gross to throw on first down. Zings it. Got it complete. That's Robinson, and he will be ridden out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down inside the 40-yard line. Good for 14 yards, and here are the guys that Gross is looking at. Stroud, Leroy, and Snellings, the down 3. The linebackers, Cochran, Lucky, Hollingshead, and Grant. Last time we had them on television, Hollingshead with a great game. Harris and Bailey are the corners, and Mann and Smart are the safeties. Quick throw. Bailey. Boy, he gets knocked down hard as Grant, Orontes Grant, came up and really greeted him.
Grant with a good tackle, and you're going to find every place Karsten Bailey goes tonight that Champ Bailey's going to go with him. Of the 9 touchdown passes that Auburn has, 5 are by Karsten Bailey, so they know to put the best defensive back against the best receiver and try to shut him down.
Good look at Karsten Bailey working against Champ Bailey. Tried to come with pressure. Burks turns the corner, puts the head down close to the 30-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 9 as Adrian Hollingshead makes the tackle.
One nice blocking on the corner by the wide receiver. Adrian Hollingshead, the middle linebacker, has to come off on the option and make the hit on Michael Burks. But Auburn giving Georgia a couple different looks here early in the ball game with the option in the three wide receivers.
Tankersley comes into the ball game, so it's Bourne and Tankersley, 2 tight ends. Georgia shows blitz. They go with the running play. Burks bounces it outside. Going to have the first down, and headgear to headgear. Smart is there to make the tackle. And Auburn with another first down, this time at the 25.
Now Rusty Williams, who's been moved from tailback to wide receiver to strong safety, now to fullback with a nice block for Michael Burks to pick up that first down. Jimbo Fisher, who's the offensive coordinator, he's making the play calls. He's down to one of the quarterbacks who's signaling on to Gabe Gross.
Yeah, they tried to cut out a middleman so they could get the play in quickly to Gross because he is so young. Quick out pass, gets it in the flat, and it's dropped. That's Robinson. A lot of teams are using that play right there. And the thing you have to be careful of is that was a lateral.
And they're going to mark it as a lateral, Ron. The referee spotted it right away, put his hand back, that it was a backward pass by Gabe Gross. So they lose a couple of yards trying to get the ball to Clifton Robinson, the former running back out of Naples, Florida. Joe Kynes, Ron, is up in the press box tonight. Now, he usually is on the field. He's switching with Mickey Matthews. He's coming up the press box tonight. Get a better view. Mickey Matthews is running things down on the football field. Joe Kynes is as good a defensive coordinator as you're going to find in all of America.
Saw him pacing up in the press box before the game, and I wondered, and then I realized he was going to be upstairs, which is an unusual place for him. There's a timeout on the action. We'll take it with him. Georgia 7 and Auburn driving.
I wish I had an elephant. An elephant who'd always play with me. Of
Okay, maybe you can't give her everything her heart desires, but with the humongous purchase power of the Visa Platinum card, maybe you can. And besides, you never know what she'll want next.
We don't build commuter cars or get you to work fast pinstriped cars. We don't build cars, period. We build the 205 horsepower, get out of town fast Isuzu Rodeo. Because there's more to life than the daily commute.
You know, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So when I noticed a few flakes, I went for Head & Shoulders. And I love the way that it leaves my hair. And the flakes, no problem.
Head & Shoulders changes dandruff problems.
Into beautiful hair.
Hear that? That's music to a man's ears. That's the sound of one friend keeping another friend cold. Thank you, refrigerator.
Last year, Pittsburgh assembled a stunning upset over Miami. This year, the Edge and companies look for revenge. Thursday game night at 7:30, followed by Pittsburgh versus Miami at 8. Thursday on ESPN.
7-0, Georgia leads. Auburn had to call a timeout, second down at about 13. And some frustration in communication. And I just mentioned that they had tried to cut out the middleman, and they want to get Gross to play with like 15 seconds.
15, 17 seconds right in there, so he's got time to change the play and look at the defense.
Here comes the blitz. He's going to have to try to run out of it, and he does, but now running for his life and just throws it away.
Nice play by Gabe Gross. He got a second chance after Adrian Hollingshed almost had him down, but he wisely threw the football away.
Also, Dustin Lucky with a good job of pressure. Jim Klein, redshirt freshman quarterback, with the headsets on the sideline.
He's given the play to Gabe Gross. The coach is on the sideline. Rick Trickett, the offensive line coach, is then making the substitution. So you get it in quick so he can get to the line of scrimmage and see what's going on.
Well, big play right here because it is third down. You see how quickly they're at the line of scrimmage. Still 18, 17 seconds on the play clock. Gives him an opportunity to be calm and look things over. And didn't help him as far as the throw, though. And what happens is, Jimbo talked about it, he's got a little hitch in the fact that his elbow gets in front of the pass and it causes the nose of the ball to go up, and he throws a lot of balls high.
You're right. He's a baseball player, and he bends his back leg for some reason, and that gets the elbow up, and that's why the high throw. And Jimbo Fisher said when we get some chance they'll work with him in the offseason that they'll correct that.
Robert Baronis, Mike's going to try a 45-yard field goal. You see his longest is 49. Good pass, plenty of distance, and plenty of accuracy on this one. Boy, he knocked that one with lots of room to spare home. So Auburn's on the board. We'll take a break. 5:46 left, opening quarter. 7-3 Georgia.
Do you have trouble driving?
The North Star system. Performance and technology that set Cadillac apart from every other luxury car in the world. Now experience the difference during the Cadillac Performance Drive with the 1999 DeVille, the world's only full-size luxury car with the power and agility of the North Star system. Now just $499 a month. A powerful way to set yourself apart during the Cadillac Performance Drive.
See the Cadillac dealers of the South. Cartersville Jewelry Exchange can sell quality gold and diamond jewelry for about the same price as they sold to jewelers across the country. Cartersville Jewelry Exchange will sell you a 10-carat thumb ring for only $19, quarter-carat diamond earrings only $79, and 2-carat diamond tennis bracelets only $199. Cartersville Jewelry Exchange lets you say I love you with a gift of jewelry without torching your wallet. Remember, there's nothing romantic about paying too much. Cartersville Jewelry Exchange, Walmart Lowe's Center near I-75, exit 125.
Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions in an ESPN Sunday Night War.
Do these chips have nacho cheese in them? Because I'm lactose intolerant.
Whatever happened to William Perry? Who's William Perry? He was the guy that was as big as a refrigerator.
Who cares? I never heard of him.
Do these chips have nacho cheese in them? It's a simple question.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. The Bears against the Lions.
7-3, Georgia. More college football coming up in just a few moments over on ESPN2. Donovan McNabb tries to put Syracuse back in control of their Big East destiny. It's Virginia Tech visiting the Carrier Dome to take on the Orangemen at 8 Eastern. By the way, there are 3 teams with 1 loss in the Big East. Virginia Tech has already beaten Miami this season, and the Orange and the Hurricanes will meet in 2 weeks. So still an interesting race going on over there in the Big East Conference. 8 plays, 26 yards, 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's interesting there. That's Rick Trick at the offensive line. That's the starters down below, and then the second team guys are behind him watching what Rick Trickett does, so that if you do go in the ball game, you're up to date on all the adjustments made on the sideline.
Looking into the eyes of Champ Bailey, Verona sets to kick it off. And Verona's, for the second time, knocks it out of the back of the end zone. And let's check in with Larry Beal. Larry?
Hey, Ron, Texas and Texas Tech. Major Applewhite, all day to throw. Hooks up with Wayne McGarity for 67 yards. 7-6 Longhorns. Ricky Williams, 11 carries, 55 yards in the second quarter.
Well, that's been a difficult place for the Longhorns to play up on the South Plain, and they generally have a good close ball game, which they are doing again tonight. Gross talks it over on the sideline. Ben Laird is there talking with him, and as the ball game goes on, we'll explain to you more about the part that Laird, who was the starter, the part that he's playing with these younger quarterbacks. Carter, right over the middle, has it complete. That's Jermaine Williams, the tight end. Kenny Kelly defensively.
Now, Ron, here's the adjustment now as you go along the ball game. Because Georgia's showing so much no back, now they've made a substitution. They've taken a linebacker out of the ball game, Auburn, and extra defensive backs in the ball game for Auburn now. Try to slow down this passing game.
8 of 9, 79 yards for Quincy Carter. Ball almost batted down. It's Bailey, and he's loose. Hang on to the outside, and finally caught by Jason Bray from behind. And if Jason doesn't come out of nowhere, he may have taken it for 6.
Ron, it was a great catch. It was defended well. Champ Bailey just makes a big-time play here. Jason Bray has a shot at him, but gets blocked by Steve Herndon, then gets tripped up a little bit, but gets up the football field.
You know, Marcus Washington appeared to get a piece of that football, and it still didn't bother Champ Bailey.
Ron, now there's one linebacker in the ball game, so the quarterback draw may be there for Quincy Carter.
Pumped it once, now goes downfield, and what an adjustment by Thad Parker. Came back on the football and actually was thrown behind him a bit, and it's good for 16 yards.
A little pump fake by Quincy Carter there. He got the snap, gave a little pump fake to try to influence the corner to sit down a little bit. Here's the pump fake, number 13, Antoine Nolan, and then the throw to Thad Parker, number 3. They only have 4 people in the box for Quincy Carter.
Quick pass, they get the screen to Champ Bailey. Nice job on the trail by Kenny Kelly. You could see 36 relentless in his pursuit. And again, it's a good thing. And let's check in again with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron and Mike, what Coach describes there as 4 in the box is an immediate adjustment, or as immediate as it can be, to the no-huddle offense. It's not a hurry-up offense, but it really is surprising the linebackers and defensive backs for Auburn. Unrecognizable formations. They don't know how to react to it. That's why you're seeing the short stuff. They're the ones that they're really preying on right now. Don told me he was going to use this at least through the first 2 series.
Under 4 minutes to play in this opening quarter, Adrian. And again from the shotgun. Pressure this time, and they're going to get it. Dorsey, Charles Dorsey, the senior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, comes through with a huge sack of Quincy Carter.
Charles Dorsey just beat his blocker. Pete Jenkins, the defensive line coach, said he's really improved and a tough football player. Charles Dorsey, number 91, just very quick, exploded on Miles Lucky to make that play.
So third down, 16. 6 tackles for a loss and 2 sacks for Charles Dorsey. They got to take this ball down to the 29-yard line. deep over the middle and incomplete. He wanted Jermaine Wiggins, the tight end. And the safety, Ware and Pate were just kind of camped right there.
Yeah, they threw right into coverage, and that's exactly where they thought they were going to go with the football, and a tight end down the middle of the field. And a nice job by Rob Pate.
Win Kopp comes on to punt. First time for him tonight. Clifton Robinson is the deep man. Off the side of his foot. Badly off the side of his foot. Well, our lineup next Saturday, College game day at 11 Eastern, followed by Boston College and West Virginia at noon. At 1:30 over on the Deuce, BYU and Utah for the WAC. At 3 o'clock, Penn State versus Wisconsin. The Badgers still in the hunt for the Rose Bowl. And in the evening, another in-state rivalry, South Carolina against Clemson at 6:30. Then a primetime game back on ESPN, one of the greatest rivalries in sports, Auburn and Alabama from Legion Field, the Iron Bowl, next Saturday night. 85,000 strong here at Auburn tonight.
A nice job by Auburn defensively. Dorsey making the sack, forcing it into third and long. Good coverage by Pate, and they turned the ball over for their offense.
Gross play action. Got him. 38-yard line, Clifton Robinson. Jeff Harris with the cover, but that's a nice pitch and catch. Larry Beal, what do you have for us?
Well, I got Florida State and Wake Forest. Travis Minor takes the handoff. 22-yard touchdown scamper as the Noles look to clinch their 7th straight ACC title with a win over on the Deuce. They lead 24-7.
Well, Mike, they got a quick transition with a brand-new quarterback at Florida coming up next week.
And you don't think they're thinking about Florida a little bit today with that 24-7 score.
Gross, nice job. Locked it in with a play action. Throws it complete to Rusty Williams. And close to the first down as Kirby Smart had to jump on his back.
Well, Gabe Gross makes this play, Ron, with a play fake. And you can see now, when you talk to the Georgia defensive coaches before the ball game, they said, we don't want him to get started. We want to blitz him early, try to rattle him. But he's in a little bit of a zone right now. He's very comfortable with what he's doing. Joe Kynes, the defensive coordinator, is going to start pressuring him a little bit more when they cross the 50-yard line. But Gabe Gross is settling down here.
4 of 6 for 44 yards for the freshman out of Dothan. Give it to Burns, and he will take it out over the 50. And across midfield as Dustin Lucky makes the tackle, but that is another Auburn first down. And guess who's in the ball game? Heath Evans, the redshirt freshman out of West Palm Beach. And he, you remember, Mike, broke his foot way back in that LSU game, had really been coming on strong. And they didn't think he would make it back before the season was over. Very tough kid, and he's a great addition to have back.
Because he catches the football very well, and he blocks, Ron. He's an outstanding fullback.
Well, Richard Seymour, it's hard to hide for starters when you're 6'6", 290. And Richard decided he thought he saw someone move.
Contact by the defense.
But Al Ford says no, and it's going to cost you 5.
And Ron, now this is the place on the football field because this young offensive football team, young quarterback Gabe Gross, that they can start taking some chances, maybe a gadget play, but at least you want to, once you cross the 50-yard line, to throw the ball down the field and take some chances to go deep in this ball game.
Well, they got one to play with here, so to speak, with a first down and 5. It's Marquise Cooper in motion. Gross, ball is high and off the fingertips of Karsten Bailey. It's been a rapid first quarter. We are at 58 seconds. That's all we have left in this first period. Keith Evans back into the lineup. You have to think that after missing 6 weeks that Evans just can't be with it as far as timing. But in talking with him in the practice field on Thursday, he is so excited that they have given him the green light. He's one of those kids, he really likes to play, and as you said, he's a good player. Well, not much pitch on that one to Michael Burks. Orantes Grant is there to slow it up, and so all of a sudden Auburn started out with a 1st down and 5 because of the offsides penalty against Georgia, and right now they're looking at a 3rd down at about 6.5.
Yeah, and Orantes Grant just met the ball carrier right in the line of scrimmage. He leads Georgia with 83 tackles coming into this football game. Very mobile linebacker.
3rd down conversions. Tigers are 1 of 2 on the night. Knocked away by Jeff Harris, and now here comes the flag. Jeff Harris going to be flagged for pass interference.
On the defense. 1st down at the spot of the foul. Ron, what's impressive on that play by Gabe Gross is he wanted to throw the ball to his fullback, Keith Evans, in the flat. Watch his head right here. He goes right to the fullback, pulls off the fullback, and then tries to hit Clifton Robinson with the throw. Jeff Harris coming right over the top before the ball was there.
See the left hand poked through the left side of the receiver's body. So it's a 1st down on what appeared to be a stop on 3rd down for Georgia. Gross swings it out to Burke. Wow. Well behind the line of scrimmage, and what an open field tackle by Dustin Luckey.
That's what you want a linebacker to do, just what Dustin Luckey did right there. The ball is thrown out in the flat to Michael Burks. Dustin Luckey just broke down, made that tackle.
That is the end of the opening quarter. So as we take a break, 7-3, Georgia leading the Auburn Tigers. We'll be right back.
My dad always said,
As soon as I get a computer, you'll come out with something better.
so to make sure people like Dad have the latest computer, we invented YourWare, technology that grows with you. For just $49.95 a month, you can buy a computer with an Intel Pentium 2 processor, internet access, and in 2 years you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one.
What do you call this thing?
YourWare. Call 1-800-GATEWAY, and let's talk about YourWare.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
We're talking about tripping. In this play, the left guard intentionally extends his leg to trip the opponent. What is the penalty?
What if your car slips off the road in Slippery Rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car's insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
We're talking about tripping. In this play, the left guard extends his leg to trip the opponent. The penalty is 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You can't see anything in a car. You can't see past the guardrails in a car. That's why we only sell trucks.
Look, Mommy, a tugboat. Really? In the water? Yeah.
Not tiny little cars.
Mommy, birds. Wow.
We prefer the view from the look outside and see the world as Suzu Trooper.
Look, Mommy, space boat.
Because you never know what you might miss in a car.
When car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
7-3 at the end of the first quarter of play. The cry is always here on the Plains, War Eagle. Flicks off the corner. He gets hit. That ball's alive, and it's intercepted by number 94, Leroy.
Ron Champ Bailey came from the side that Gabe Gross didn't see him coming. And as a quarterback, you've got to see it. You've got to see the blitz. You've got to see the coverage change. And Champ Bailey hit him right in the back and caused the interception. Great players make big things happen. Champ Bailey coming off the corner, and he smacks Gabe Gross for the interception. Never seen it coming.
So Leroy with the interception. Marlis, a senior out of Albany, Georgia. Huge opportunity for the Bulldogs. Counter tray. Here comes Grant. Has 5, has 10. Counted off at 15, and now 16 and 17 as Rob Pate will make the tackle, and Matt Stinchcomb, number 79, with a nice block.
Ron, they caught him with a two-linebacker defense, and they really had the extra defensive back into the ball game. Now Haven Fields comes in. Stinchcomb with a good block on the counter. Landis Carey for good yardage.
Stinchcomb, a senior, 3-year letterman out of Lilburn, Georgia. Dogs lead at 7-3 and driving again following the interception. Deep over the middle. The ball is tipped, and it's going to be intercepted by Auburn. This time, Jason Bray. The 7th interception by Quincy Carter this year, and the ball was tipped.
Was trying to get the ball down the middle. Auburn with a good rush. Good coverage. Number 54, Haven Fields with the tip. Larry Brown was the intended receiver. Jason Bray with the interception.
You see, Larry Brown was open, but he tried to force it. The linebacker got a hand up and got the tip.
Great effort by Haven Fields. Collier, the linebacker that starts, he's out. He was injured in last week's game.
This is Michael Burks.
Number 21, Michael Burks at right
Champ
hand.
Bailey is out there to make the hit on him.
And that's what you want out of your defense, Ron. When you get a sudden change like that, Champ Bailey forced the interception, your defense comes in, bad field position, it gets the ball right back to their offense. And that's what Bill Oliver wants out of his defense.
You know, Mike, you make such a great point because early in the year, the Auburn offense was giving up so many points to the opposition. They were out of the ball game before it started in 3 games.
Their turnovers were inside their 50-yard line.
Devontae Carter, now the tailback. He gets the pitch on the option play. You see the lead blocked by Rusty Williams, and he'll take it out across the 40, close to the first down. And let's check it again with Larry Beal.
Hey, Ron. Crazy play from earlier today, Northwestern and Penn State. Eric McCoo bounces outside. Watch what happens here as the ball gets punched out, and he dribbles it right to himself. Stepped out of bounds, shouldn't have counted. 41-10 the score, but it sets up Penn State and Wisconsin next Saturday at 3 Eastern. Wisconsin still with Rose Bowl hopes, Ron.
Larry just proves the point. Basketball season has started, and it was a really nice dribble ahead on the play. Doesn't always take that good even bounce, though, does it?
No.
Gross in the handoff, hit in the backfield. No place for Carter to go because Richard Seymour, who peaked earlier and had a 5-yard penalty, peaks on this play legally and makes the tackle for a loss.
I believe Richard Seymour is on a little bit of a slant on this play. Steps down inside, outside, makes the hit on Devontae Carter, who had the big ball game against this Georgia defense last year at Athens.
Zills, the numbers on him on the 4th down and 4. End over end, and a fair catch is called for by Michael Greer and made at the 25. So there's a break in the action. 7-3, Georgia leads. We'll be right back.
Want to take your taste for great fast food in a different direction?
You want to drive into Sonic,
where you can add chili to just about anything, from chili cheeseburgers to chili cheese fries. Or right now, get our Coney and Tots special, an extra-long cheese coney topped with chili and tangy cheddar cheese, plus a side of crispy tater tots for a special low price. at Sonic, where the spice of life is right at your fingertips.
Hi, welcome to Sonic.
Drive in for a change this month and get our cheddar peppers for just 99 cents.
Wouldn't you rather have something under the hood than on it? Now you can with this limited time offer on the Bonneville SLE Special Edition. With these aggressive looks and this attractive value, it's one performance you won't want to miss. Listen. Luxury with attitude. The Bonneville by Pontiac. See your local Pontiac dealer today.
That last egg is looking real good. If you have a High Life Light, maybe you will have room for just one more. See there? When you live the high life, you can live it both ways.
Need brakes? Come to Midas for a break on brakes. Now just $69.95 after rebate. You'll get our standard brake service and our lifetime guarantee. Midas is $69.95 brakes. It's worth stopping for.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Sonic, America's Drive-In, where we invite you to drive in for a change. And by the rugged new Montana from Pontiac. Life is more exciting in Montana. But you're looking at Auburn's Lovelace Sports Museum up at the University Football Complex here on campus. Total yards, Mike. Georgia, 143. 80 of those came in the first drive, and Auburn with 61 yards.
Well, some good adjustments by Bill Oliver in slowing this no-back set of Georgia down a little bit.
And again, they go with an empty backfield. Bailey in motion. They hand it off to him directly. Turns the corner. And Bailey has 10 still going. He's going to have 15 yards in the play of a play that looks so simple and maybe a tackle at the line of scrimmage. He got 15 yards.
He makes it look so easy, and that's why he is probably the most versatile, best player in the country because of what he means to his football team. But he just does it effortlessly.
Very quiet young man. And his actions on the field, same way. Whoa, that quick screen. Quincy almost threw it too far inside, and Antoine Nolan came close to being the recipient.
Exactly right, and I think maybe Quincy Carter saw that and threw the ball a little higher than maybe he wanted to. No, it just slipped out of his hand. You can see that ball came out like a wounded duck. The champ Bailey, Bill Oliver, the defensive coordinator, was talking about him. He said, I think he'll play more on offense because of our offense. Not being able to put a lot of points on the board, they'll play more on the offensive side against us.
Carter, 11 of 15, one interception and a touchdown tonight. Little counterplay. Orlando Gary behind the blocking of Stinchcomb, and Leonardo Carson will make the tackle around the 45.
Well, Matt Stinchcomb led that play on Orlando Gary, and Chris Cefalo, the offensive line coach, said he's the best in America. Hasn't given up a sack this year and grades almost 90% every play. Just didn't find anyone to block on that play.
Gary, 5 carries, 32 yards. He's having a very good night, averaging just over 6 per try. 2 tight ends, Wiggins and Brown. Line to make is midfield. Right over the middle, there's the tight end. That's Wiggins. I'll tell you, I love an offense that uses tight ends, and they got 2 awfully good ones in Brown and Wiggins.
Well,
18, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Jermaine Wiggins come into this ball game with 17 catches, and Bill Oliver, who you look at right here, he's a little upset with the coverage, but he said Jermaine Wiggins, when he transferred with Jim Donnan from Marshall, made Larry Brown a better player because Larry Brown picked it up. And when you have 2 tight ends like this, you can do so much on offense. A little tight end delay to Jermaine Wiggins. He blocked and up the middle.
Thing is, they do something with it after they catch it. Quincy Carter spins around. He's going to be knocked down for no gain. Marcus Washington puts it into that one, so it'll be a 2nd down and 10.
A lot of weapons for Georgia offensively, but Ron, the thing I've noticed about them, they have trouble running the football. They're not a good running football team. They ride on their quarterback right here, Quincy Carter, which is not a bad way to go. I mean, he's an outstanding quarterback, but the freshman has just delivered great dividends to this football team.
No question about it. Wiggins in motion. Option back into the boundary. This is Gary. Not much running room. It's a nice job by Auburn. It's going to be 3rd down and 7, maybe even 8 as Jason Bray forces him out. So Jim Donnan knows that one of the most dangerous things that could happen in this ballgame, a situation with an Auburn team that has been through so much controversy, that the longer he lets them stick around in their backyard, he's creating all kinds of headaches for himself.
A monster.
3rd down. They need to take it to the 27. Carter zings it, got it complete, and again, one of the tight ends, it's Wiggins again. And I'll tell you, the tight ends have been the difference for Georgia in this first half.
Ron, this is well defended by Haven Fields. It's a tight end hook over the middle. Now, this is the other side of it. That's Larry Brown on the other side. He hooked at 9 yards. Now you're going to find Jermaine Wiggins hooking away from the linebacker. And Haven Fields was in good position, but a nice throw, and Jermaine Wiggins gave the target away from the linebacker to Quincy Carter.
Brown is 270. Wiggins is 255. 8th play of the drive. And they come back with Bailey out of the motion. Same play going the other direction, and he'll take it to the 15. It's going to be a gain of 7. Taylor defensively. Stinchcomb, let's give him credit for another good block.
And, Ron, you mentioned the tight ends here. They not only catch the football, Stinchcomb with a good block, but Larry Brown made a good block on that last play. Both he and Jermaine Wiggins present problems to a defense because they can split out, they can catch the football, they're good blocking tight ends, and you don't have to change personnel to get in 4 wide receivers.
Now here they're both standing up rather than at a 3-point, and they stay in the block. And the ball knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Carson, and they were trying to set up the tight end screen back on the short side.
Without a doubt, Leonardo Carson, who I said has had an infected knee, hasn't practiced much. He leads the team with 70 tackles, 7.5 sacks. He gets his big hands up here and knocks that ball down. He's 6'3", 272, was a high school quarterback.
Let me change one thing. That pass actually was Tony Small. It was not to the other tight end. Carson, interesting. A high school quarterback, and now he is many times larger.
Shaw High School in Mobile, he threw 12 touchdown passes his senior year.
They need 3 on 3rd down. Straight ahead, Gary, and they're not going to have it. That's a tough job defensively against the run. Haven Fields is the man up at the top who makes the hit. Down at the bottom is 95 Carson. No movement from the Georgia side as yet.
Haven Fields came off the sidelines. He didn't start the Central Florida game, but played very, very well for Bill Oliver, and he's picking it up again here tonight.
No movement with the special teams. 4th down, 1.5 yards. It appears they're going.
And this is what Jim Donning's saying, though, Ron, that he believes his defense can stop the offense of Auburn, so he's going to go for 7 points here.
Champ Bailey on the sideline. The 2 tight ends flip over to the short side of the field. Carter, backside pressure, zings the pass, has it complete to Tony Small, and that's good for the Georgia first down right in front of their cheering section at the 7.
A nice play call by Jim Donnan. Tony Small on an out in front of Larry Casher. Good block by Landis Gary, the 1 back. Here you're going to see the quick out. 5 steps, 5 yards out. The ball thrown before he runs out of room, and Quincy Carter with another big play.
Small does a little bit of everything. Averages almost 15 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns. His longest this year is 59 yards, and that came against Tennessee. 12th play of the drive. Straight ahead, Gary at the 5, puts a head down and running top at the 1-foot line. They say touchdown.
Ron, I think Quincy Carter went to the line of scrimmage and changed this play. And Olandis Gary moved up to find out what the play was, and he knew he was getting his number called, and it was a touchdown.
Cap Hines good on the extra point. There's a break in the action with 7:53 left until halftime, and now the Georgia Bulldogs move out to a 14-3 lead.
Introducing AT&T 5-cent weekends.
Perfect. No. Perfect.
Now calls from home on weekends anytime, anywhere are just 5 cents a minute.
Perfect.
So get comfy, because weekends have never been better.
I take my calling very seriously.
To get 5-cent weekends, call now to enroll.
Hello?
If you've been thinking about jumping into a rugged new Montana,
I need more room.
now's a really good time.
Never seen a minivan do that before.
Maybe it's not really a minivan.
Life was more exciting in Montana. Now jump into a rugged Montana with this limited time offer. But get a move on because the train's leaving the station. See your Pontiac dealer today.
Send your customers a FedEx package in 2 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Up to $11.
Send your customers a UPS package in 2 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Up to $11.
Send your customers a priority mail package in 2 to 3 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Just $3.
So, what's your priority?
Alabama, Auburn.
The Tide and the Tigers. No rivalry delivers more late-game excitement.
Alabama versus Auburn at 7:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
This Heisman Classic moment brought to you by the U.S. Postal Service. 1942, Georgia halfback Frank Sinkwich became the SEC's first Heisman Trophy winner. While setting a conference record for total offense, he led the Bulldogs to an 11-1 record and a Rose Bowl win over UCLA. A couple of other Heisman Trophy winners, Pat Sullivan, of course, here with the Auburn Tigers. And this gentleman was here tonight. We're honoring him for his Collegiate Hall of Fame, Bo Jackson. And there was a standing ovation from this partisan house. Holloman kicks this one not returnable into the Auburn end zone. So both kickoff guys, Baronis and Holloman, doing an outstanding job.
Making the offenses work the field. Ron, I go back to the Jim Donnan 4th and 1.5, 4th and 2 going for the touchdown because he believes his defense can stop this Auburn offense, so he's going to take a few more chances in this game.
What do you do with Gabe Gross right here?
I think you got to continue. You got to roll him out. You got to take some shots down the field though with Gabe Gross because it's tough for this offense because they lack confidence to drive the ball 80 yards. You got to get some big plays out of them.
Gross is 4 of 8 with 1 interception. Drills this one over the middle. Nice job to Tankersley, the tight end. Tight end really has not been a part of this Auburn offense since the injury early in the year.
Yeah, Schweiger, the junior college tight end who was Terry Bowden thought he was going to be a very good tight end for him catching the football out of California Junior College, and he just got hurt, and it's really hurt the productivity from that position.
Gross lobs his pass, and that's a nice job by Baylor. Oh, my goodness. He must have a 40-inch vertical and used every inch of it in that leap.
But this is what Gabe Gross does best when you roll him out. When you get him on the corner, Karsten Bailey's going to come all the way across the field against coverage. Larry Mann chased him, number 1. Just like you talked about, Ron, going up to get that football. He's from Newman, Georgia. That's a good play fake by Gabe Gross. Karsten Bailey from Newman, Georgia, and has had some very good football games against this Georgia football team.
2 receptions for 22 yards for Bailey. They roll the pocket the other direction this time, and he kind of sidearms it and goes to Bailey on the other side. And again, a first down for Auburn.
That's where he's the best. When he rolls out, either right or left, and you get him away from that pocket, get him away from the traffic up inside, and he can make some nice throws to Karsten Bailey.
14-3, Georgia leads it as we are under 7 minutes to play until halftime, but the Tigers are coming right back. Big opening up the middle. Burks spins his way for a 10-yard gain to the 25-yard line. Larry Mann has to come up from his free safety position to make the tackle. Larry Beal.
Texas and Texas Tech, Ron. Final play of the first half. The Longhorns drove basically the length of the field in 13 seconds. Time expires as Wayne McGarity goes into the end zone for the touchdown. 14 on Longhorns. Ricky Williams, 88 yards at the half.
So Williams needed only, what, 202 yards to break Tony Dorsett's record in the last 2 ball games. 88 in the first half, so we'll keep an eye on that one up in Lubbock. Play action by Gross, nicely done, and breaking the tackle, Rusty Williams. Hey, one thing you have to give credit to as they pick up the first down. There is a lot of fight in these kids now. I mean, they have gotten bumped around a little bit on the last series offensively by Georgia, and they are really clawing right back.
And I think you're right, and you have to give Gabe Gross credit because he's engineering all this with good ball handling, good faking, rolling out, making good throws here to Rusty Williams. The fullback coming out of the backfield. Champ Bailey missed the tackle, and so Gabe Gross is playing very, very well here in the first half.
Almost 100 yards. Pitch to Burks. Burks tries to spin off this time and can't get away as Emerlis Leroy hit him first, and Champ Bailey came over to finish him off.
Well, when you look at this offense, Ron, in 1995, you can see where they were ranked in 9th and then where they've come. But I think when you look at 1997, they had a very successful year. They threw the ball very well. Damian Craig took them to a great season. And when you take a ball club that throws all the time and then you come back and try to run, sometimes it's difficult.
Going to carry this one inside the 10-yard line. And that, I believe, is enough for another Auburn first down. Marcus Stroud defensively.
Now, here's where I think it's going to get tough for Auburn because their inability to run the football. Now, let's see if they can knock it in. Now, Ron, and you, Bill Warndell, your crack spotter, found out that Kendall Mack is wearing number 85 now. He is a big tackle, number 85. He's 6'5", 317. He's going to play a tight end position on the right side, so I would think that they're going to run to the right side here.
Let's see if play of the drive. Let's see if they go behind Kendall, Mike. Up over the top, he's Evans. That's what Evans brings that I love. And besides being hard-nosed, he brings a lot of emotion. There's the big fella, Kendall Mack.
He's wearing 2 jerseys tonight.
No, he's just that big.
Yeah.
No, he isn't. You're right. He only has on one now, though.
Now, let's see if Georgia can shut down this Auburn attack right here inside the 10-yard line.
8 plays, 73 yards in just over 3.5 minutes. Good lead block by Evans, and it's Burks down to the 2-yard line. And number 44, Heath Evans, with a paving block right up the middle to spring him.
There's no doubt, Ron, that he's rusty, but the rust is coming off very quick because he has made 2 key plays back-to-back. A first down carrying the football, then lead blocker here, number 44. It's a good block inside from Michael Burks.
When the fullback goes in and the linebacker's feet go in the air, you know mission accomplished. And that was the case. 9 carries, 36 yards for Burks. Tries to take it to the end zone. Champ Bailey along with Smart, the first 2 men to grab him. And this is what Mike was talking about, trying to run in close quarters. And Auburn can't come away with a field goal.
No.
They got to have 6 points.
And the tip-off, too, Ron, as Michael Burks comes out of the ball game is when Mack is in the game wearing number 85. Most of the time, they're going to run to the side he's lined up.
So we'll try to get a report from Adrian and Michael Burks. He obviously was limping. You're going to have to hurry. They're going to have to call a timeout. The play clock is down to 10, down to 9, down to 8.
Yeah, they're going to wait till it goes down and call timeout. Talk about it. Too important right here.
So we'll check on Burks, and we'll see the fate of the Auburn Tigers offensively on this drive when we return.
Do you have trouble driving in the North Star system? Performance and technology that set Cadillac apart from every other luxury car in the world. Now experience the difference during the Cadillac Performance Drive with the 1999 DeVille, the world's only full-size luxury car with the power and agility of the North Star system. Now just $499 a month. A powerful way to set yourself apart during the Cadillac Performance Drive.
See the Cadillac dealers of the South.
Having a hometown to call your own is something pretty special. In hometowns all over the South, we're helping people reach their dreams and protect the ones they love. For life and health insurance, one company stands tall above all the rest.
Liberty National, part of our hometown.
Time with Tom Jackson and yours truly. We had all the highlights from all the games. NFL Primetime, Sundays at 7:30 on ESPN.
Wow, prime time. I'm into that.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
With Auburn in scoring position, number 21 running back Michael Burks for Auburn just rolled his ankle, back up on the sidelines, anxious to get back in the game. Nothing very severe, Ron. Okay, let's see if the Tigers can punch this one in the end zone. They're down 14-3, but you can see where the football is sitting. It is 3rd down and goal, about 2.5 yards away. This is the 11th play of the Auburn drive. DeMontre Carter, head down, touchdown Auburn. Kendall Mack, the big offensive guard and tackle we talked about, who's wearing 85 with a key block on the plate.
Yeah, anytime you're short tight ends and you put a big tackle in a tight end, you're going to run behind him because you know he's going to get a good block for you. Even though they put the power eye left, they still came behind Kendall Mack.
Verona splits him. So there's a timeout on the field, and it is noisier on the plains than it was just a moment ago. 14-10, our new score. As you look at Mack with his block to get DeMontre Carter into the end zone.
Need brakes? Come to Midas for a break on brakes. Now just $69.95 after rebate. You'll get our standard brake service and our lifetime guarantee. Midas is $69.95 brakes. It's worth stopping for.
Do I hear 2,000 for a date with supermodel Jennifer? 2,000.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals?
Sold to number 10 for $2,000.
Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Got him now.
Yeah, if I could only see.
I've got the perfect thing.
The Bosch Micro Edge XL has a revolutionary dual rubber wiping element.
Move to the left a little.
It's the best cleaning, longest lasting blade we've ever made. Bosch Micro Edge XL, the most advanced wiper system ever.
Beautiful. But I think we lost the headlight.
Send your customers a FedEx package in 2 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Up to $11.
Send your customers a UPS package in 2 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Up to $11.
Send your customers a priority mail package in 2 to 3 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost just $3.
So, what's your priority?
14-10, our new score. Georgia's lead cut to 4. And this week's primetime NFL lineup begins with ESPN Sunday Night Football. The Chicago Bears take on Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions at 8:15 Eastern. Then ABC's Monday Night Football. Terrell Davis and the undefeated Denver Broncos head to Kansas City to meet the Chiefs. ESPN and ABC, exclusive homes of primetime NFL football.
Ron, you see the rushing offense already tonight. They've matched what they average. Been successful, and I think that's a good move, moving Kendall Mack to a tight end position.
More beef up front. And Barones, they have not returned one of his kickoffs tonight.
Now, when you prepare next week, Alabama's going to sit there and see when 85's lined up that the ball's going to come his way. You have to change a little bit next week.
Well, they could give Kendall a different number next week. Hard to hide that body, though, isn't it?
885. But Joe Kynes up here, he'll see Kendall Mack and may slant to Kendall Mack the next time.
Kendall 6'5", 317 out of Pineville, South Carolina. Carter sets deep, wants to throw a screen or faked it, and now goes long and wide open. He's got Michael Greer, who is going to go the distance. 80 yards, Georgia.
You know what happened on that play, Ron? Quincy Carter, number 4, Jason Bray, looked at the quarterback, and he thought it was going to be a 3-step drop, and he threw, and he settled because he was reading the quarterback, so he settled at 10 yards, but Michael Greer kept going. So the read of the quarterback by the corners, they're eyeing up the quarterback, and when he saw him stop, he thought it was either a quick screen or a quick throw, and he broke down too soon.
Hines with the extra point, and he's good. That for Greer, by the way, is his second touchdown of the year. His 11th reception.
Boy, that's a nice job. Now, that's nice coaching right there. Jim Donnan's going to take advantage of this. Oh, you watch Quincy Carter now. He looks like he's going to pump like it's a quick screen. Now he waits till the corner settles. Number 4, Jason Bray, and then Michael Greer. He never stopped running. Just something you pick up on tape every now and then about how a corner plays or how he adjusts to that kind of pump fake. And they picked that up, and it ended up for 7.
Let's check in real quickly with Larry Beal. Larry?
All right, Ron, the Buick halftime report is coming up on Showdown Saturday. Could the co-number 1 stay number 1? We're all over Ricky Williams on the record watch. Plus, the Game Day gang will join us from Kansas State. A wild scene after their showdown with Nebraska today, coming up at the half.
Okay, some big games today. We'll find out on Monday what the pollsters thought, or how impressed or unimpressed they were with some victories. As Holloman sets to kick it off for Georgia. Marquise Cooper. Cooper gets outside and then is run out of bounds at the 37 by Jermaine Phillips.
Well, nicknamed the Lizard, he's moving like the Lizard right down the football field. He set up 2 drives for this Auburn offense with 2 good kickoff returns.
So this Auburn offense did not get very long to rest or celebrate on the sideline. The one-play drive, 80 yards by Georgia, really put a quiet on this crowd.
Boy, it really did. But Gabe Gross has been up to the task tonight. He's done a fantastic first half.
He's 2/3, 66%, Mike. Hollingshead steps up into the middle. Here comes the blitz, but they pick it up. And that ball sails. And boy, Jimbo is exactly right. The nose of that football really
stays up. Well, when he bends the back foot, then the shoulder goes up, and when the ball's released, it takes off sometime. And again, it's a baseball thing as you watch him. Little bend in his back leg, and that gets the elbow up and the ball high.
Clifton Robinson coming back to ask him again about the play. Gross right up in the middle. Got it complete. What a catch by Robinson.
Dropped it, Ron, when he just before he hit the ground.
Beg your pardon. It looked as though he had it.
He was close to having it, but boy, he took a hit. Clifton Robinson out of Naples, Florida. Former high school running back. He rushed for over 5,800 yards, and he took a hit. Kirby Smart.
Crowd is disagreeing with the officials. They thought that possibly it was a reception.
No, that ball came out.
It came out, and the officials were right there. We got a good look at it, and
no, that's a good hit. Glenn Ford's trailing him underneath, and Kirby Smart lays the wood to Clifton Robinson.
Clifton's still down at the 43. Just under 2 minutes to play until halftime. Next week we'll be in Birmingham, Legion Field, for the Iron Bowl, the meeting between Auburn and Alabama. And, Mike, it's a historic moment because it's the last meeting of the Iron Bowl between Auburn and Alabama that will be played at Legion Field.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Alabama lost today to Mississippi State. Auburn here trailing tonight, but you throw out the records, and that's what everybody talks about, a rival game. But the one thing when you're coaching in that game, you want to win that football game because it's a long year if you lose that game.
Smart with 4 tackles on the night gives us time while he is still down. Speaking of Clifton Robinson, let's check in with Larry Beal. Larry.
All right, well, over on the Deuce run, we've got Syracuse and Vodtech in a big game of the Big East. Donovan McNabb gunning for his favorite man, Kevin Johnson, coming right at you, and it is broken up as 3 defenders converge on the play. No score to that point. Go right back. McNabb to KJ off his hands through the back of the end zone, incomplete. And Syracuse has just kicked a field goal, so they're on the board, 3-0 over on the Deuce.
Boy, what a rifle. Time is back in. Glad to say that Clifton Robinson went off under his own power. And he very wisely threw that one away because underneath coverage by Jeff Harris, he might have had a pickoff, and Gross is slow in getting up. Richard Seymour put the wood to him.
He's hurt. Now, last week they had Miko Collier, the redshirt freshman quarterback, warming up, and they were almost ready to put him in the football game. There's the hit. So when we come back, we'll see what happens with Gabe Gross.
End-over-end kick. No fair catch. Greer's going to return it. Got as much as he could around the 35 and then steps out of bounds. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, I've been watching Gabe Gross series by series here, watching him very closely. It's only been a matter of time. About 4 or 5 series ago, he took a helmet to that right elbow, and you described earlier in the game how high that elbow gets. Obviously makes it an easier target for the Georgia defense. Same thing happened here, only this time they hit him up more underneath the underarm area. So now they're actually looking at only his forearm, his shoulder, but also close to his ribcage as well.
Okay, Adrian, he is 0 for his last 3. We had mentioned he was 8 of 12 for 96 yards, and he was 0 for on that the last couple of series. Carter zooms it deep over the middle, caught by Tony Small, and the ball is loose, and Champ Bailey has recovered for Georgia. No, they say Auburn took it away.
No, he just got turned around the wrong way.
The official got turned the wrong way. Okay, Jim Donnan had done a cartwheel on the sideline.
I'm not even sure he knew he had done it.
Well, Tony Small with a big-time catch here, and the thing with 1:30 left to go on the clocks, Georgia still has 3 timeouts, too, so a lot of time for this Georgia offense.
Yeah, this would be death right here if Georgia were able to tack a quick touchdown on the board with 1:24 to go. And warming up on the sideline for the Auburn Tigers is Miko Collier, the redshirt freshman out of Cordell, Georgia. We'll be right back. We'll take a break.
In a world of constant change, a solid foundation is the key to success. The 12 institutions comprising the Southeastern Conference form pillars of academic and athletic excellence. For more than 6 decades, the SEC's commitment to teamwork and achievement has provided the foundation for student athletes to become the leaders of the next millennium. The Southeastern Conference, a proven past, a promising future.
When you think of Auburn, do you see thousands hurrying to get to their destinations on time? So do we. Do you picture young people gathering to eat? So do we. Do you see a team driven to succeed no matter what obstacles they face? So do we. Do you see a school working to make life better for everyone in Alabama? So do we.
So you can see Gabe Gross is back up and throwing on the Auburn sideline. But back to the field of play at the 38-yard line. Champ Bailey recovered the fumble, and the Bulldogs have it with a first down. And 1:24 left until intermission. Carter got it this time to Larry Brown, and the big tight end is rambling all the way down to the 16-yard line. Bray finally stopped him.
Ron, the pass protection for Georgia, Chris Seflo, the offensive line coach, has to be pleased because Quincy Carter's got a couple days back there to decide who he wants to throw to.
Chris Terry, particularly on that play, was outstanding. 17 of 22 for a touchdown, and this one is thrown behind Brown, and there is a marker. This could be Auburn offside.
Yeah, I saw the player for Auburn lined up offside. I think it's Marcus Washington, but then there was some movement by the left tackle.
Now let's see what Al Ford comes up with here.
Defense lined up in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, be first down.
Yeah, I think it's number 82, Marcus Washington, was lined up.
So it's a first down and 5 now, and the new line of scrimmage is the Auburn 11-yard line.
And Ron, when you have Champ Bailey in the ball game down here, you almost figure he's going to get the football somewhere.
Keep an eye for number 4. But right now, number 17 with the quarterback draw, and Carter is going to take it all the way to the 1. And there is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Dunlap on the stop at the 1.
Holding by the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
Jim Donnan knows that right now you want to take care of business with just under a minute to play till halftime. Somehow to put it in the end zone.
And he's got 2 timeouts. You see him signaling for a timeout here, but may not get it in because his players are breaking the huddle.
Game clock is at 44, now at 43. Carter has it complete. That's Larry Brown. And a timeout has been called by Georgia. They'll stop the clock with 33 seconds left. Taylor and Bray combined on the tackle.
Well, that's what's important about this Georgia offense. Larry Brown, who lines up at tight end, can also move outside and be a wide receiver. You see him lined up right out here on the outside, and he's going against Jason Bray at corner. Just running a stop route, a smash route to the outside, and makes the catch. And again, he's so valuable because he can do so many things in your offense.
College basketball coming up on Tuesday night on ESPN2. Elton Brand, Trajan Langdon, and the #1 Duke Blue Devils take on Davidson from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's followed by Texas taking on Houston. A couple of faces you might recognize in the sidelines. Rick Barnes takes over the Longhorns, and Clyde Drexler is back in Houston as coach of his alma mater. All Tuesday on the Deuce. Quincy Carter right there next to his head coach in the middle of the pack. So here's the situation. It is a second down. The ball is 11.5 yards away from the end zone. We have 33 seconds left until halftime.
5 yards for a first down, so they can still pick up a first down, and they still have, I believe, 1 timeout left.
Mike, 8 catches by the tight ends in this first half. Pressure from the backside of Washington, and that pass is going to be incomplete.
I believe Ryan Taylor got his hands on it to deflect it.
But the whole thing was sent awry by Marcus Washington, who was coming pell-mell.
Well, here's where Bill Oliver needs a defensive stop.
Seeing those scores go through right there, and they'll talk about them at halftime. Arkansas gave one away today, didn't they?
But they should get a second try at Tennessee if everything works right. Of course, Mississippi State will have something to say about that.
I think Washington jumped offside here. We'll wait and see, though, if he was drawn offside.
Before the ball was snapped. Movement by the offensive line.
Okay, he was.
5 yards. Still
moving on the offensive front. Virginia Tech comes back and goes in front of Syracuse 7-3. Syracuse, a strange team. They have so many weapons, and it seems as though they should be so much more potent on offense.
Well, John Makovic, I was listening to him today. He made a good point. He said they score 3 more touchdowns on the average at home than they do on the road, but they're without Quentin Spotwood, and that's a big loss.
Yeah, that's your home run guy. Carter pumps, goes for the end zone, and overthrown. He wanted Tony Small.
Good job defensively by this Auburn defense, keeping them out of a touchdown, forcing the field goal attempt.
So with 21 seconds on the clock and a 4th down at 10, Hap Hines will come on to attempt what appears to be around a 33-yard field goal from the far hash mark.
Number 41, Hap Hines, and the attempt for 33
The holder, Quincy Carter. And it's a fake. Carter goes for the end zone, and it is intercepted by Auburn. By Ware.
Well, Auburn read that the whole way. Fake all the way. But Auburn read it the whole way, and they were not going to be surprised.
Flag on the play.
Have unsportsmanlike conduct against the offense, using a substitute to deceive. The penalty is declined. Touchback.
Well, what Jim Donovan's going to say here, O'Ron, that he went over this with the official before the ball game. Anytime you have a play that you're going to run as a gadget play, you go over it with the official before the ball game in the locker room. So he probably drew it up for him and said, this is exactly what we're going to do, and show us if it's wrong or not. And that's why he's a little confused, unless it was run differently than he drew it up. But I don't believe that's what he's telling them.
No, I don't think so, Mike.
But Auburn right there. Nice job by Jason Bray. Staying right with the Patrick Pass.
Joe Gross takes a knee. The clock is at 7, now at 6, and we are at halftime here in Auburn, Alabama. With our scores, they head to the locker room. Georgia 21 and Auburn 10. Now with the Buick halftime report, let's rejoin Larry Beal. Larry?
All right, Ron, let's not waste any time. Arizona and Cal out west. Last 2 years, these teams have played. They've gotten to overtime, so a history of tight contests. Marcus Fields through Strawberry Fields forever. They play in Strawberry Canyon there in Berkeley. Arizona down 12-10. Just before halftime, it's Keith Smith to Brad Brennan. Two-point play is good. Arizona takes a 20-10 lead. Remember, they're hoping UCLA wins out and goes to the Fiesta Bowl for the national title game. Arizona, in second place in the Pac-10, would secure the Rose Bowl. Would the Hogs go hog wild if they could upset Tennessee today? The Bruins looking to stay unbeaten and run at least to Pasadena. Lee Corso dipping into his wardrobe coming up.
If you've been thinking about jumping into a rugged new Montana,
I need more room.
now's a really good time.
Never seen a minivan do that before.
Maybe it's not really a minivan. Life was more exciting in Montana. Now jump into a rugged Montana with this limited time offer. But get a move on because the train's leaving the station. See your Pontiac dealer today.
Most breweries in America were built in cities, but not Coors. You see, years ago, my great-grandfather had to choose. Either brew a good beer in the city or a great, refreshing beer up here. Good call.
Take a shot.
Temple City, over 40 basketball. It's fantastic.
Hop-a-shot basketball at O'Brien. It's a fantastic.
This halftime report is presented by Century, by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
Welcome to the Buick Halftime Report. I'm Larry Veal. The question coming in today, would we see a passing of the torch in the Big 12 from Nebraska to Kansas State? Remember, the Huskers had dominated the Wildcats, winning 29 straight times. But this time, Kansas State is the #1 team in the nation, and this time Kansas State is the team thinking about a national championship. They would meet today at K-State. Eric Crouch in the second quarter, 7-7 game. The bomb to Kenny Cheatham. One-handed grab. Awesome 45-yard connection, 14-7 Huskers. They led 17-14 at the half. Third quarter, here was Michael Bishop. He was fired up for this game. Fires a strike to Darnell McDonald. Makes a couple of moves. Sidestep into the end zone, 21-17 K-State. Still in the third quarter. Huskers down 7. Frank Murphy, junior college star, fumbles. Thank you very much, says Ralph Brown. 74 yards the other way to tie things up at 24 apiece. To the frantic fourth quarter. Huskers down 3. Crouch with time. Sheldon Jackson has got it. 30-27 Nebraska. The extra point was no good. K-State not to be denied. Michael Bishop, big comeback rally here. Rolling to his right, looking for Darnell McDonald all alone in the back of the end zone. K-State up for good. 34-30 Wildcats. And it took them about a half an hour of rocking and swaying. They're not used to bringing down the goalposts in Manhattan, Kansas, but they finally got that baby down 40-30. And with the win, Kansas State clinches the Big 12 North. Michael Bishop runs for 2 touchdowns. He threw for 2 TDs, along with 306 yards as they break the Big Red Hex and end that 29-game losing streak and look to stay #1 in the nation. Co-#1, Tennessee, facing fellow unbeaten Arkansas. Clint Sterner up top to Anthony Lucas. Great catch. Hogs up 14-0 in the second quarter. Later, third quarter action. T. Martin on the rollout, trying to lead the comeback. And he slices the deficit to 1 touchdown, 24-17. 1:59 left in the fourth quarter. Tennessee down 2, 4th and 9. Martin off of Peerless Price. Arkansas ball, and you think, okay, good night, game over, drive home safely. This one's in the bag. But Arkansas, this is like a disaster. Clint Sterner fumbles, just tripped over his own feet and dropped the ball. Vols recover with a chance to win. I mean, that is just unthinkable in that situation for Houston Nutt and the Hogs. I mean, what else could go wrong in that situation? Tennessee, 32 seconds left. Travis Henry skies into the end zone, and the Vols shoot off some fireworks. This was really an escape, not necessarily a celebration, but Tennessee holds on, so the co-number ones both win 28-24. The Vols and the Hogs will probably meet in 3 weeks in the SEC title game. That'll be neutral site. Georgia Dome could be a different story. Clint Sterner throws for 274 and 3 touchdowns. All he'll think about tonight is that one fumble as they're trying to run out the clock. South Carolina and Florida. Steve Spurrier, he's got these ball plays, tricky stuff. Kenyatta Walker, the tackle eligible, he lines up. He thinks he's going to catch a pass. Forget about it, big guy. They go the other way to Travis Taylor. Doug Johnson hits him. And the Gators really didn't need much trickery to beat South Carolina. But they do win it 33-14. Doug Johnson throws for 4 touchdowns, 360 yards. What a day for Travis McGriff. 13 catches, 222, 2 touches, back-to-back 200-yard games for him. Kentucky rolls 55-17 over Vandy. Tim Couch, 492 and 5 touchdowns. And it was also Mississippi State over Alabama, 26-14. Out west, UCLA and Washington. Bruins trying to stay undefeated. Cade McNown to his favorite target. Danny Farmer, you could throw the ball up high, low, at his ankles, anywhere. He makes the catch no matter what. 13-3 Bruins. Ryan Rock, like a rock. Nice block there. Look at the way he uses his downfield blockers, weaving through traffic, and the purple haze left in a haze, not to mention a daze, as UCLA has no trouble in Seattle. 36-24, 19 straight victories for the Bruins. They clinched the Pac-10 title. They know at the very least they'll go to the Rose Bowl, if not the national championship game. McNown, 233 on 12 of 24 passing. Arizona State, they get blown out by Oregon, 51-19. Achilles Smith throws for 397 and 4 touchdowns as the Quack Attack goes unbeaten at home this season, 6-0. Syracuse and Va-Tech on the deuce. It's Jared Ferguson exploding up the middle, and aloha! 76-yard touchdown run for Va-Tech in this Big East battle between two teams that have one loss, thinking about the conference title. And Va-Tech, they've turned this special team stuff into an art form. Ricky Hall off the blocked punt, and he gets the touchdown, and Virginia Tech leads 14-3 as they're in the second quarter of that one. Coming right back with more.
It is a place of quiet dignity, where tradition is respected and tastefully observed. Because while there may be occasion to celebrate, there's no need for display. Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement.
Waking up is hard, wherever you are.
Good morning, sir.
But coffee helps. And cereal, and fresh fruit. Ooh, that definitely helps. And before long,
He did it again! Unbelievable!
you're a human again. This town's not so bad. Complimentary breakfast at Comfort Inn and Comfort Suites. It's more than a room. It's comfort.
Welcome back to the Buick Halftime Report. Put football on pause for a second. Tomorrow on ESPN2 and ESPN, the women's basketball season starts up. The State Farm Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic on the deuce at 2:30 Eastern. Number 8 Kansas, number 24 Illinois, and then back on the mothership at 4 p.m. Eastern. Number 5 Purdue against top-ranked Tennessee. Huge early test for the reigning Lady Champion Vols. Now back to football. Ricky Williams, he needs 204 yards rushing in his final 2 games to catch and pass Tony Dorsett for the all-time record in Division 1A rushing. But 2 very big tests because he's got Texas Tech and Texas A&M. So you want to get as many yards against Tech before you go into that regular season finale. Here is Ricky tonight. Ready to run wild for the record. Mac Brown probably give him the ball 70 times if he needs to. First quarter, no score. Here is Ricky Williams, number 34. He bounces outside for 20 yards, but Texas couldn't do anything on the drive. 4 seconds left in the half. It's the Major Applewhite, the bomb. Wayne McGarity with no time. Look at 0-0 up on the clock. And Texas with a miracle play at the end of the half. And it's now 18-14 as Texas Tech has scored to take the lead. The Ricky Williams watch. He's got 93 yards on 18 carries. And Williams slowly sneaking up. And we talk about his career numbers, but don't forget about what he has done this season. Averages just shy of 200 yards rushing per game, 25 rushing touchdowns, and he leads the nation in scoring. Texas A&M will be waiting on Ricky in a couple of weeks. Today they had their hands full with Missouri 17-14, so the Aggies have now won 10 straight since that season-opening loss to Florida State. They clinch a tie for the Big 12 South title at the very least. Wisconsin and Michigan, Wolverines roll on. Wisconsin, the Rodney Dangerfield syndrome. No respect today from the Wolverines, 27-10. And basically, they shut down Ron Dane, held him to 53 yards. If Michigan beats Ohio State next week, the Wolverines, who are undefeated in the conference, will go to the Rose Bowl. And Florida State beats Wake Forest 24-7. The story there, Marcus Outzen making his first career start at quarterback for the Noles. 11 of 19, 164 yards, and 1 pick. It'll get a lot tougher in his next game as Florida State faces off against the Florida Gators. Oh, somewhere in the swarm of people, the Game Day Gang. Creeks, Fowler, Lee, Corso, Kirkhope Street coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila with the Craftsman. Makes Owens King Menswear special. The finest quality and classic styling in sportswear from Woolrich, Cutter & Buck, Hart Schaffner & Marks, and the Greg Norman collection. Elegantly tailored suits and sport coats for corporate and social occasions. See what Austin Reed, Hart Schaffner & Marks, and our own Clock Tower collection have to offer. Expert alterations and exceptional personal service make Owens King Menswear a true specialty clothing store. Owens King Menswear, 417 Broad Street in historic downtown Rome.
I think big folks in Georgia should get presents during the holidays, too, and I can't think of any better present than $50 off their gas bill. I'm going to see Santa.
Just call 1-877-GO-SCANA. Switch your natural gas service to SCANA, and you'll get $50 worth of free gas, plus SCANA's guaranteed low price and great service.
I'm going to see Santa. I'm going to see Santa.
And tell me, young man, what would you like to have besides $50 in free SCANA gas?
Welcome back to Manhattan, Kansas, an empty KSU Stadium. Unfortunately, only about 45,000 could see this one in person, but expansion begins in a week, and that's what's left of the goalposts. It took them about 30 minutes to rip down those goalposts, then it took Kansas State 30 years to reach this point. And for Coach Bill Snyder, this is a tremendous step. Comes in here, takes over a program that really was rock bottom when he got here. A slow, methodical building process, finally taking down the defending national co-champions today. The biggest step ever in his reclamation project.
I feel very good about this win. I feel I'm humbled by it, in all honesty, because of the amount of time that it's taken to do this. I think above and beyond all, I'm so happy and proud for not only the youngsters that played in this ball game, but the young people that were here 10 years ago and 9 and 8 and 7 years ago that laid so much in the way of a foundation for this program.
He should be proud, but you almost got a smile out of him. Very quick one, eh? He's got Missouri next week. He can't really relax. Michael Bishop, sensational. All but 66 of Kansas State's total yards. All but one of their 5 turnovers. It was an adventurous day in a lot of respects.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Kansas State's team, the coaching staff, their fans that are down in Aggieville. Michael Bishop, to me, was the difference in his football game, and I think everybody else had a chance to watch it. He did everything today, not only throwing the ball and running the ball. He had so many big plays. They're back against the wall here, scrambling, picking up a big first down, and almost going to distance. You can see him just leaving. These are athletes he's running away from. Also, late in the game, they need a big play. Nebraska in his own defense. He finds Darnell McDonald. The thing that makes him so difficult to prepare for If you blitz him, he has the athletic ability to get around the defense and go upfield. If you sit back in his zone, he'll pick you apart. He is one of the best, most dynamic quarterbacks in the nation.
Well, speaking of that, Darnell McDonald, he's a great wideout. I tell you what, he had some great plays, 2 touchdowns. The thing I like about him most is when, after he catches the football, the way he can run. He's a big receiver, 6'3", 215 pounds, made some great plays, and I promised the people if they won, Kansas State, number 1.
He makes good in his promises. Bringing a few cowbells down in Tennessee. The ball shows some heart, but really a Joe Pisarcik-like fumble to go back to that old Giants-Eagles game, and you have to feel bad for Clint Sterner.
Yeah, but you have to feel good for Tennessee. Although they were way behind, they kept fighting, their special teams, the defense, and everything else. Tennessee won the football game, and now they got Kentucky next week, and Tim Couch should be a great football game.
You know, Michigan continues to heat up in the month of November. Today they outscored and also outrushed Wisconsin all day long, 476 to 190. And what's good about Michigan right now is they're getting balance. They're getting the quarterback to make plays, and they have a 1-2 punch. They have the quarterback who can get it done, and also A-Train and Clarence Williams. That's tough to stop Michigan right now.
Buckeyes Wolverines next week. We'll talk about that game and a lot more after the game. We'll come back to kick around the BCS, the Pauls, and look ahead to next week. That's what happened after 30 minutes of struggling. They finally got the goalpost down.
Do rich people have more friends than the rest of us? Are they more deserving of a comfortable seat? Are they more entitled to brake safely on a rainy day? Are we the only car company that doesn't think so? Century by Buick, full of amenities for under $20,000. And now Century's an even better value. Save over $2,200 with 1.9% APR financing on every 99. Century by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
21-10, our score here at halftime on the Plains. And Mike, the difference to me in this football game is the quarterback, Quincy Carter, almost 300 yards passing in the first half and 8 catches by the tight end. Incredible.
Quincy Carter's had a great first half because he had the presence of mind to check off a play, and then he got a touchdown, and he's been accurate throwing the football with 2 touchdown passes. Here he checks off a play to a 3-man rush with Orlando Scary, and then they hit it up inside with good blocking from their offensive line for the touchdown. And here's the pump fake, and he affects Jason Bray and hits Michael Greer for the touchdown. Big play that at that point in the ball game, Ron, Auburn was threatening Georgia, and that play kind of took the air out of the Auburn football team. Yeah.
This place went quiet. Look at that, 286 yards for Quincy Carter in the first half. And as we mentioned, 8 catches with the tight ends, 5 of those by Larry Brown. Career high, 72 yards, and his first touchdown of the year. Holloman. It's going to be taken by one of the short blocking backs at the 32-yard line, Haven Fields, and check in with Adrian Carson. What do you got for us, big guy?
A lot of ice to the right shoulder of quarterback Gabe Gross, but he still came out of the locker room after halftime, Ron, with a lot of pain in that right shoulder. What that means is he's got a lot of trouble trying to follow through over the top. He's going to have to drop that ball down, not really throw sidearm, but still makes it easier to block a pass, easier to intercept a pass. And secondly, something he doesn't know, some of the defenders for Georgia have been watching his eyes. He is cluing in on his primary receiver and forgetting everybody else. 2 strikes against us to start the second half.
Well, that's almost a typical thing by a freshman quarterback. Burks breaks a tackle, and he's going to have 10 yards on his very first carry as Larry Mann comes up from the secondary. Olandis Grant hit him, and he broke off that tackle.
Well, the first half stats, Ron, neither team really running the football with much authority. Georgia has 286 yards passing, but the key is the average on first down. Georgia throwing the ball much more than Auburn with 12 yards per carry or per attempt on first down.
Going to give it to Heath Evans, the fullback, and he'll go for about a half-yard gain. Let's take a look quickly at the defensive stats as well. And probably the most troublesome thing, if you're Auburn, is the fact that your leading tacklers are coming out of the secondary, which you don't like to see. Bray, 7 tackles, 6 solo. Taylor with 7 tackles. Of course, he's a linebacker. 4 apiece for Grant and Smart. 3 solo by Smart.
Well, Georgia only attempted 16 rushes in the first half, so most of the throws, Jason Bray making tackles in the secondary.
They go with the option and the pitch back to Michael Burks. He get hit with a head-high tackle by Dustin Lucky.
But again, Heath Evans with a nice block on Champ Bailey, allowing Michael Burks to get the first down. And you talked about Heath Evans early in the ball game. Watch this block on Champ Bailey, number 4, by Heath Evans right there. He gets enough of him to knock him outside that he has to try to arm tackle Michael Burks, and that allowed the first down. Very important drive for Auburn right here.
Fakes it to Burks, and going to go deep. And he got it. Marquise Cooper, who was only 5'7", timed his jump perfectly over Jeff Harris.
Well, I thought we'd see more of this tonight, more down the field throwing by Auburn, but Gabe Gross with a nice throw here, and Jeff Harris doesn't do a very good job here of positioning himself against Marquise Cooper. There's the pressure on Gabe Gross. Now the catch. Marquise Cooper does a nice job with his body shielding Jeff Harris away from the football. He just gets his body inside of Marquise Cooper for the catch. And Bill Oliver now watching the offense a little more closely.
About to go into 13 minutes to play in this third quarter. So the end zone got turned around. Rusty Williams. Pass was intended for him, and he turned around a little too quickly and then was not in a position to leap for the ball.
Ron, on this formation, what Auburn's trying to do is get the fullback against the linebacker. That's Rusty Williams, the fullback, versus Dustin Lucky. Now, he starts right here. Dustin Lucky's right here. So it's a linebacker versus a fullback. And you like that match if you're Auburn. And Rusty Williams just ran out of room. Dustin Lucky with a pretty good job of coverage. Just not enough room to take advantage of the linebacker.
Got him. Touchdown, Karsten Bailey.
But they're going to go for 1. If you make the 2-point conversion, you're only down 3, a field goal away, but 1 doesn't help you with that situation.
Baronis is good. There's a stoppage in play with 12:48 left, third quarter. And our new score, Georgia by 4.
The good old days of supermarket shopping, when nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
Var rädd om dig nu, Sven-Åke. Det är bäst att ta på dig varma kläder.
It's no wonder that children like this grew up to build a car like this. The new Volvo S80. Safer than any car we've ever built. As thrilling as any car anyone's ever built. Protect the body. Ignite the soul.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by American Plastics Council and by Volvo. Volvo reminds you to drive safely. Sanford Hall, Auburn University's signature building on campus. Fog really beginning to roll in here at the stadium. We have not had any rain, though, thank goodness. And the groundskeepers here, magnificent job. This is a fast track for what has been a wet couple of days. 6 plays, 68 yards. Very impressive, particularly from a freshman who was nursing an injury and still trying to broaden that picture, make it a little bigger.
That was critical for them to go down the field and score a touchdown, or at least get some points on the board.
Let's see if Veronis' kick is returnable here, because every one, we looked at Champ Bailey a moment ago, every kick by Veronis tonight has been into the end zone. Deep. Champ Bailey's going to return it.
Champ Bailey's first half, Ron, they've not been able to get the ball up the field to Champ Bailey, but a lot of quick screens. Here he gets a quick screen. He gets a good block out of his tight end. Came back again with another quick screen. Now here's a reverse where he gets the ball and he sweep to the right side. And on the defensive side of the ball, here's a blitz where he hit Gabe Gross in the back and caused an interception. So he's been active in the first half. Haven't been able to get the ball down the field to him. More plays on offense in this game for him.
Here's the option, and he's just going to hold on to it and have a gain of about 7. Larry Casher defensively.
Now the Auburn defense has to answer the Georgia offense a little bit and slow them down. Georgia, and you mentioned it, the use of their tight ends in the first half. Larry Brown, Jermaine Wiggins, been a big part of the offense from Quincy Carter.
Gives you a lot of things to think about if you're on defense. Orlandis Gary has the first down and a lot more. Antoine Nolan finally made the tackle. And let's check in with Adrian. That was a 20-yard gain.
Late in the first half, Ron, Tavarius Pounds, defensive player for Auburn, slight dislocation of his left shoulder. He came out after halftime, pads off, pads in his pants on, and ready to go back into the game, but the doctor said, no way. Keep the ice on there. There's no way if you want to play or even have a chance of playing next week against Alabama that we're going to play here in the second half. So, Tavarius Pounds out of this game.
So Callier out as well.
They're thin at the linebacker position. You're right.
Gary, they run him back into the boundary, runs into his own blocker, and still fighting. Charles Dorsey will stop him.
And that run gives them still Haven Field, Sean Shaw, and Whit Smith. And then they said they'd play Kenny Kelly a little bit inside and outside.
Kenny's done a nice job tonight. Gary goes out. Boy, over 100 yards more allowed by this 9th-ranked Auburn defense this evening. Washington with a big rush, and it's complete to Wiggins. 9 catches by the tight ends from Georgia. Now we need to just start keeping a tally,
well,
because
Ron,
they're about to go to double figures.
Yeah, we talk about the tight end, and what you do is you go to the 3-receiver side, and this is the tight end right here, and he's just going to go down and curl inside. Now you got Champ Bailey on your side, and Champ Bailey's going to get a lot of attention. You see the safety just come over a little bit too late to make the play on Jermaine Wiggins. A nice throw by Quincy Carter. He's got good velocity on the football, and that's why that hook, when you hook at 10 yards and he's delivering on your break, the ball's there. Very tough to defend from a safety. Distribution, as you said, the tight ends, the biggest part of the offense.
Got this one to Larry Brown, and they are in double figures now. That's 10 catches by those fellows. And Larry Beal, let's check in with you again.
All right, Rod, Texas and Texas Tech. Ricky Williams got 100 yards rushing, 104 away from the Dorsett record, but it's Major Applewhite to Wayne McGarity, the 3rd time they've hooked up for touchdowns. Longhorns back in front, 21-20 on Tech.
Shootout on the South Plains. Our score is 21-17. Auburn making it tough. And, you know, there's never been great separation for the most part in these games. This is a rivalry that normally the home team, you know, gets the victory or darn close to it. Here comes the pressure. Carter got it, almost intercepted. Stepping in front was Rob Pate, and Rob knows he's disgusted with himself. Leonardo Carson forced the pass to be rushed, and Pate couldn't hold on to the interception.
And that's what you want out of a safety. He was real tight to Jermaine Wiggins. No, it's Larry Brown. Larry Brown coming out. There's the pressure from Leonardo Carson. Here's Larry Brown trying to get away from number 31, Rob Pate. He was right on him like glue.
Third down. The line to make is the Auburn 22. Option. Back to Gary. Nice job by Ware. Brad Ware read it and came up immediately to tackle him for a loss.
Now you think that they'll punt the ball. I would think Jim Donnan punt the football, but he's going to keep. Looks like Quincy Carter in the ball game. Here's the option play. And a nice job out of the secondary by Brad Ware. Nobody blocks him.
Georgia calls a timeout as they want to talk it over because they had not planned on punting as deep as they were, but they're going to have to. 17 Auburn, 21 Georgia. We'll be right back.
Professional builders, people who make a living with their tools, prefer to buy their tools at the Home Depot more than any other store in America. And whether it's the selection, the quality brands we offer, or our guaranteed commitment to the lowest prices, we think it's a pretty powerful argument for why you should shop here too. The Home Depot, where people who know their stuff buy their stuff.
Which clamp is faster?
An old-fashioned screw-type clamp.
Or the revolutionary quick grip bar clamp?
Let's watch closely.
Here they go.
And it's over. Amazing. Now for the instant replay.
And look at that. One finger on the quick-release trigger, and the bar slides right into position.
And there, he's tightening the clamp by merely squeezing the quick grip handle. And it's done. You know, unlocking the clamp again was a very nice touch.
The quick grip bar clamp, available wherever quality tools are sold.
Want to take your taste for great fast food in a different direction?
You ought to drive into Sonic,
where you can add chili to just about anything, from chili cheeseburgers to chili cheese fries. Or right now, get our Coney and Tots special, an extra long cheese coney topped with chili and tangy cheddar cheese, plus a side of crispy tater tots for a special low price at Sonic, where the spice of life is right at your fingertips.
Hi, welcome to Sonic.
Drive in for a change this month and get our cheddar peppers for just 99 cents.
Last year, Pittsburgh assembled a stunning upset over Miami. This year, the Edge and Company look for revenge. Thursday game night at 7:30, followed by Pittsburgh versus Miami at 8, Thursday on ESPN.
21-17, and Mike, because they're at the 35-yard line, Jim Donnan, it looks as though he's going to go for it.
Yeah, I think he's going to go for a run because of where he's at. He figures maybe the last punt was shanked a little bit to the left, so he feels like he's going to try to go for it and see if he can pick this first down up.
Hamp Hines looks on to the sideline. They're going to take this all the way to the 22. In and out of the hands of Bailey, and Champ knows, whoa, he should have caught that. I'm surprised he didn't throw an underneath route. Why they went for it all? Are you?
Well, he had 12 yards to get a first down. He felt like he could get it into Champ Bailey. He had a shot at the throw for a touchdown. Trying to work against Jason Bray. Safety's going to come over the top. Brad Ware, he had a shot at it.
Champ tipped it back to himself. And see, right here, he tips it with his right hand, then can't gather it. That would have been a touch. You see his right foot was well in bounds. Blitz coming. Gross barely gets it away and has it complete to Karsten Bailey. Mike lucky with the pressure on Gross, but he still completes it for a 13-yard gain.
And what's impressive about that throw is Gabe Gross threw to a spot. He knew where Karsten Bailey was going to be. Karsten Bailey working against Champ Bailey, who just comes off running that long route, trying to get a touchdown collision, but that ball was thrown right on the money by Gabe Gross. He just throws to a spot under pressure.
Georgia shows blitz. They stay tight at the line of scrimmage, and that running play is not going to go for much. And let's check in again with Larry Beal. Larry?
Hey, Ron, Syracuse and Vatek and the carry, don't tough place to play. It's a reverse. Donovan McNabb, the reverse to Maurice Jackson. Keon Carpenter says, I got you. Pops the ball up. Lauren Johnson, look what I found. He's gone for the touchdown. Vatek taking a 21-3 lead on the Qs over on the Deuce.
That's incredible. Just incredible. Syracuse really was a shocker. 21-17 our score. Georgia, 2nd down and 9. Auburn has it at their own 48. Look at the pressure on Gross, middle screen, Burke. Oh, that's a beautiful job defensively. Staying at home, Orlandis Grant.
Number 58.
Boy, he did stay at home. You talk about he read a screen right off the bat.
Marcus Stroud also may have made him throw the ball higher.
Number 97, Marcus Stroud's going to get to him, and also Antonio Cochran, number 38. Ciorantis Grant playing the screen. Michael Burks coming out of the backfield.
5 tackles, all solos for Ciorantis Grant tonight. 3rd down. Incomplete. Jeff Harris with the cover trying to get to Clifton Robinson. So it's 4th down and kicking time.
Well, it's a good job by Jeff Harris. He broke on the ball and got his right hand in front to deflect this football. Clifton Robinson giving him a little bit of a move, but watch his right hand. Just a good push against Clifton Robinson.
Jeremy Zills, 2 punts tonight. Very short. This one's not going to come close to turning over. And in fact, the tail just stayed down, and it took a Georgia bounce once it hit the ground. Only 25 yards of a kick and a commercial coming your way. 7:18 left in the 3rd. Georgia by 4.
Listen to this. You can save up.
Nobody puts you in a truck faster than the Rocket Man, folks. A 1999, not a 98, Ford XLT Ranger. $1,000 out of your piggy bank, you're out the door at $174 a month under the red carpet lease program, or 1.9% financing. A 99 F-150 XLT Super Cab, loaded, folks, CD player and all. $2,600 down, $298 a month, or 4.9% financing. Come see us at Wayne Blackwood, Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Would you like to win a home computer loaded with extras, or maybe a CD player for your car, or a new top-quality VCR for your home? Win these and much, much more in Comcast Christmas Sweepstakes. And winning is easy. Just watch in your mailbox for the Christmas Sweepstakes mailer. It's your entry blank to win thousands in prizes. Plus, it comes chock full of big discount coupons from area businesses. Use them to save a bundle on Christmas shopping. It's the Comcast Christmas Sweepstakes mailer. Look for it in your mailbox soon.
Most breweries in America were built in cities, but not Coors. You see, years ago, my great-grandfather had to choose. Either brew a good beer in the city or a great, refreshing beer up here. Good call.
Kind of an eerie-looking night this long after Halloween. Foggy up at the top of the stadium, into the lights.
Jim Donnan thinks it's eerie, too, right now.
First down at his own 30. Carter. Gets it away last minute, throws for the first down at the 41 to Thad Parker. Now that is where athleticism just takes over. Let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, you know, earlier in the season when Ben Laird lost his starting job on this bench, no one told him that he had to invite Gross and the other young quarterback over to his house 2 nights a week to look at film and go over game plans. No one told him that he had to bring them over with him or he had to go find them on the sidelines after every offensive series and help them out, especially now with the injury. This is something that's generational here at Auburn. Ben Laird learned this from Damian Craig. My point is his reaction could have been altogether different a couple of weeks ago, but he is still making a difference.
Well, that's great. That it shows what kind of young man he is. There's no question about that. As Orlandis Gary gets the carry, and he's going to be short of the first down by about 3.
Ron, to echo what you said about Ben Laird, we watched him here early in the year, and he played hard, and like Adrian said, he really takes both quarterbacks and goes over all the hot reads. He goes over all the reads on every pass play, the checkoffs at the line of scrimmage. He makes sure they know what they're doing on the field. And Jimbo Fisher said that's his way of contributing right now till he gets another chance to go back on the field. And you talk about character, that's high character.
Well, also, you look at a situation where, by rules, they have only 20 hours with the coaches to teach. As Stinchcomb is down, the All-American left tackle for Georgia. But since only 20 hours can you spend with the coaches, for him to take that time with his fellow players, then, you know, that's even that much better for help for them and for the coaches.
That's a good point. And he obviously knows this offense, and the coaches trust him to go over with the other quarterbacks.
Stinchcomb okay as he goes to the sideline, probably for only one play. It is second down. They need to take the ball to the 50-yard line. Carter, pressure up the middle. Now runs out of the pocket and just throws this one away and almost threw it into the arms of Antoine Nolan.
Well, if Antoine Nolan wouldn't have got his hands on it, Jason Bray was ready for the interception.
He was going to.
He was coming, and he is frustrated because, look at him, because he knows he had that football if Antoine Nolan didn't tip the football. A bad throw by Quincy Carter. On the run to the right. See Jason Bray, he's coming up. He knows interception, and the ball's tipped.
Ooh, and Mike, there was nobody down that sideline in front of him. So it's third down, 3rd and 5. 6 of 10 on third down conversions, and Georgia has missed their last 3. Pressure from the outside. Here's the option. And nothing doing for Ronnie Bradley. Nicely defended by Haven Field.
Well, neither offense right now being able to sustain anything as Bill Oliver looks on. A good tackle by Haven Fields and forcing Georgia to punt the football again. They're leaving Auburn around here.
And we talked about it in the first half. The longer Georgia allows, they're favored in this ball game, the longer they allow Auburn to stick around, the worse it could be.
That eerie feeling will become an eerie feeling for Georgia.
Before the ball was snap movement, the offense fine. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Clinton Robinson, who was shaken up back in the first half, is back deep. And another kick off the side of his foot. Headed for the sideline. That one's going to go deeper than the first one went off the side of his foot. And Kopp is going to finish with a kick of, well, we're still waiting for him to step it off here. 35 yards.
35-yard kick.
Well, coming up on Thursday, Miami's Edgerrin James is the leading rusher on the top offense of the Big East. The Hurricanes averaging over 450 yards a game. They'll host the Pittsburgh Panthers for the Orange Bowl in Miami. And our coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with Thursday game night right here on ESPN. And again, those standings in the Big East, this is the way it looks. 3 teams with 1 conference loss apiece. And Virginia Tech trying to change that up in the Carrier Dome tonight as you look at Stinchcomb on the sideline being attended to. Burks hit as he picks up a couple of yards. That's Miller. And let's check in again with Larry Deal.
Hey, Ron, Texas and Texas Tech. Ricky Williams on the record watch. The handoff here glides into the end zone, no problem. 24 carries, 120 yards. Longhorns leading Tech 28-20 in the fourth quarter, early there.
You know, Mike, the amazing thing about that is if Texas wins that game, there's a lot of football left there tonight. That would be 8 wins. Mac Brown has to be on a lot of lists for Coach of the Year.
Without a doubt.
That's miraculous. Gross, right over the middle, incomplete. Nice job defensively as Lowe couldn't hold on, and it was Glenn Ford who was hounding him all the way.
Ron, on the sideline for Georgia coaching is Rodney Garner. Now, Rodney Garner used to be here at Auburn. He recruited Carson Bailey, Takeo Spikes. He had the pipeline to Georgia. He then moved on to Tennessee and brought several good players up there. And then now at Georgia, and has a strong ties in the Atlanta in the state of Georgia. So one of the better outstanding recruiters in the country.
Tigers 4 of 8 on third down conversions. Gross got Clifton Robinson.
That's where Gabe Gross is the best. When you get him out of that pocket and get him on the move.
18 yards.
This is a dash play. The Washington Redskins, Joe Gibbs made that famous. Start out as a drop back, and then you seal the corner and sprint your quarterback out, and you're throwing, and the reads are a little bit easier for the quarterback when you sprint him out because he's got two-man routes.
3 catches, 51 yards for Clifton Robinson. Great take. They were reversing. Deep over the middle and intercepted by Kirby Smart. That is a heck of a return. First of all, it's a heck of an interception. Tipped it with one hand and then brought it back into his body.
Boy, you're right. Gabe Gross knows that he had everything in his favor because great fake. There was no one outside. I mean, nobody from Georgia. He could have run the football, but he had his tight end down the middle. Watch this. Now, everybody's frozen. I mean, there's no one to the outside. So Gabe Gross comes over, doesn't get squared up, throws the ball too high to...
Tipped it with his left hand, Smart did, and got it back into his body. That is a real athletic move. Look at this. Stopped it with his left hand, is in the air, then controlled it.
Good concentration.
Yeah. Orlandis Gary, straight ahead, broke off a tackle and broke it for a bigger yardage than what the play started off as. He'll have 9 yards. And Adrian, what do you have for us?
I have, unfortunately, a very significant injury to the Georgia Bulldogs. Big number 79, Matt Stinchcomb, a Lombardi finalist, is out of this game at this moment with a deep bruise to his left shoulder. Ron, I have never seen a man, much less a man this size, put up such a vehement denial in taking his shoulder pads off. He's a Lombardi finalist. He figures every play counts, whether he was a finalist or not. Pads are off, out of the game at this point, Ron.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. Carter got it away and just threw it away. You could see he was being tackled by Marcus Washington just as he got the pass off. And they're going to immobilize that left arm.
You're just talking about Marcus Washington. He's had a big night from his outside linebacker spot. He shows you his speed because he caught Quincy Carter. Here's a fake to Orlando Gary on a 2nd and 1. They're trying to hit something big on the outside, but Marcus Washington put the pressure on Quincy Carter. Now sets it up for 3rd and short.
Six of 11 on 3rd down conversions. They have missed their last 4. Well, confusion on the option. You could see that Gary cut in behind and tripped up his quarterback.
Yeah, he did not get the checkoff. The noise here affected Quincy Carter. Orlando Gary did not get the call. He ran the play that was supposed to run, which would have been an off-tackle play for him. You'd see him running into the pack of Quincy Carter.
Ryan Taylor gets credit for the tackle, but Gary helped out as well, and they blocked it. Taylor got the block.
Ryan Taylor's going to come top of the screen and gets the block on the punt, sets Auburn up in great field position.
Jason Cook is the man who recovered it. The surprising thing, Mike, is that Wynn Kopp just really was taking his own time. I know the man came free, but he was slow. Tigers need to capitalize on this error. And they just picked up a 5-yard penalty for delay of game. Boyd.
Ball the ball, snap, 25-second clock expired. Still first down.
Auburn. That is a momentum killer right there.
And sometimes, you know, you just, when a big play happens, the official spots the ball, you're a little slow coming off the sideline and just too slow. That's an error.
So it'll be first down at 15. The new line of scrimmage, they have placed the ball down at the Georgia 36. Georgia leads by 4. Under 3 to play, third quarter.
And that can't happen, Ron. You can't have those penalties like that.
Not at that time. Lucky comes free. Pressure, and they're going to sack him. 94 Leroy. So he has a sack, and he also has, was it an interception? Interception tonight.
On the hit by Champ Bailey. This Georgia defense has got to pressure Gabe Gross now. Can't give him time because when he's had time, he's been able to find the mark. And now I look for them to roll him out a little bit. Get him out of the pocket.
Biggest thing is they're out of field goal range here. They got to at least get 3 points on this. Robinson in motion. Flag is down. Seymour was the guy with the pressure again on Gabe Gross. Is that going to be interference, you think?
No, I think it was either an offsides or a legal procedure from the start of the play. Which I think maybe Georgia turns us down. Now, Ron, I'm going to go back to the extra point. When they kicked the extra point, that's when I really thought they should have gone for 2 to set it up to 21. If they make the 2, then you set it up 21 to 18. If they get down here to the 30-yard line, then you kick the field goal, you're tied. When you go for 1, field goal doesn't help you at all.
So the situation, 2:11 to play in the third quarter. Third down. And they need to take it to the 21-yard line. Pressure up the middle. Gross drills it incomplete, and getting an arm in to knock the pass away was number 26, Corey Robinson.
Big, and Ed Reed Carson talked about the young quarterback sometime eyeing up his receiver and watching him for a long period of time. And I think that Corey Robinson got a chance to jump on that football because Clifton Robinson was the primary receiver all the way for Gabe Gross. They're going to try this field goal.
55 yards by Baronis. His career long is 49. Good pass. And long enough but wide left. So the blocked punt by Auburn, and they come away with nothing.
And give Georgia pretty good field position here. Baronis hit it pretty good.
(21-17) with 1:58 to play, third quarter. Georgia struck with an 80-yard touchdown pass back in the first half. So they had the big play potential. And Carter lobs one, got him open. That's Bailey, and just took a little too much off of it.
Yeah, their timing has been off here in the third quarter, and credit Auburn. Defensively, they've really mixed up their coverages. They're mixing up the rush, and I think they have Quincy Carter a little bit confused now.
Maybe another matchup to watch. Kelvin Williams is coming at left tackle, replacing Stinchcomb. He's working against Leonardo Carson. Maybe that's one to keep an eye on.
Good point.
Carter going to run it. 5, 10, and he slides, so he may not have 10. Kenny Kelly was right there on him, and from where he slid, he did not pick up the first down.
No, I think that just fell out of the official's pocket. Didn't tuck it away. Ron, here is the same situation of the last time when Quincy Carter checked off to the option, and Orlando Fury didn't get the option. I think they'll keep this one inside. On 3rd and 1.
Well, look at this. 6 of their first 7 and 0 for their last 4.
This looks like a quarterback sneak formation here because they're trying to spread Auburn out.
Well, that's what they've done, and he'll wind up not only picking up the first down, but a yard and a half to spare as Carson makes the tackle.
Kelvin Williams, you mentioned him, Ron. He just made an excellent block on a linebacker, and looks like he's real excited to be in the ball game. And he's lining up against Leonardo Carson, the best defensive lineman for Auburn. And you had talked about with Matt Stinchcomb out of the ball game, will that play a factor? Will Leonardo Carson be able to get to Quincy Carter now that he's got Kelvin Williams, the junior, the backup? And I like the way Kelvin Williams has come in here. He's excited.
Well,
yeah, he's so excited he
lost his balance. He was sitting there like, bless his heart.
He is excited, though.
He tried to maintain his balance.
He looked like a statue.
Well, when you used to walk that the railroad track. Let's see, did he get it called a timeout in time? That's what Al Ford is asking his fellow officials.
Timeout was called before anybody moved. Timeout order.
Well, Kelvin's glad of that. The railroad tracks didn't hurt him.
Let's take a break. 49 seconds left as we take a break. Off balance a tad, but we'll be right back.
Well, man, it's Lisa Mendy.
Translation. Let's record our favorite songs on mini disc.
Track 5 got no flavor.
Perhaps we should delete this selection.
Man, you got to flip the spins, yo. Cassettes are hurt.
Unlike cassettes, I can move tracks or re-record digitally up to 1,000,000 times.
Yo, this is illin' like a villain, super macadocious, chilling off the sizzle, no diz out.
I have no idea what he just said.
Sony Minidisc, the digital way to record your music. Available at Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
As the beer man, I get bombarded from all sides. So to get your icy cold Coors Light first, it's a good idea to sit out from the crowd.
Hey, beer man!
Hey, take the painting guy. Now that tells me he appreciates the frost-brewed taste born of the Rockies.
Yo, beer man!
Ah, the giant finger guy. It's as if he's saying, hey, beer man, Coors Light is #1 in my book.
Yeah! Yeah!
Nice touch.
Hey, beer man.
Of course, I've always preferred the subtle approach. Coors Light!
The more you do something, the better you get. State Farm's been settling car insurance claims for over 75 years. Millions of them. We've come up with a system that works so well that more drivers trust State Farm than all those cut-rate insurers put together. You're buying into that promise that we're going to be there to take care of you when the claim happens. Every day, State Farm handles over 30,000 claims. It's a practice makes perfect thing. That's the reason the competition doesn't stand a chance.
21-17. Some of the Village people watching tonight.
Ron, you see the plays that Champ Bailey's been in, and he's really been in on a part of the offensive game plan tonight. Jim Donnan wants him on the field.
Threw it off balance, but he's got Bailey out there, and he makes the catch at the 20-yard line.
Ron, I'll tell you, first of all, the battle between Kelvin Williams and Leonardo Carson. Leonardo Carson won got to Quincy Carter, but again, I'm amazed at the fresh run against this Auburn defense.
They don't have to run another play because the play clock has not been whistled in, so they are going to be satisfied to let the third quarter run down. As they head toward the other end of the field, we'll take a timeout. And when we return, the final 15 from Auburn, Alabama, as Georgia leads it by 4, but right now they are knocking on touchdown's door again.
Only one car in the world has this revolutionary new anti-whiplash system to help protect your neck. Unfortunately, it can't help necks outside the car. A new Volvo S80. Protect the body, ignite the soul.
I'm Hank Parker, and this is the bass fishing game from Radican. If you like fishing, this is it. You cast like you're really fishing. Jerk to set the hook and reel him in. The game shakes when you're hooking. Man, you can feel that bass right on your line. Now, I'm a pro, and I'm telling you, this is the real thing.
Dad, I caught that 25-pounder.
Boy, it's wearing me out. Bass fishing, feel the bass on the line. Also, lunker and junior bass fishing from Radican.
When car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard.
Can you believe the price of popcorn?
Crime against humanity.
Everything costs an arm and a leg.
Not everything. You can get all your long-distance calls for under $1.
He's talking about 10, 10, 220. Dial it and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
You're very wise, tiny one.
Talk over 20 minutes, then what?
Yeah, and then what?
It's just 10 cents for each extra minute.
That's cheap. How is it possible? How does popcorn pump? Who cares?
Yeah, just dial 10, 10, 220 and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
Bingo. You're not going to hurt me, are you, Norman?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Fortunately, there's Nasonex nasal spray. An effective nasal allergy prescription medicine taken once a day that relieves sneezing, itchy runny nose, and congestion, indoors and out. Now that's wonderful. Nasonex. What good days are like every day. The most common side effects were headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
Gabe Gross continues to throw on the sideline, but back to the field to play. It is second down. The ball resting 11.5 yards away. They need to take it to the 6 to pick up the first down. Gary, big opening at the 5, and he will score. Ronnie Bradley with an outstanding block.
Did a nice job. You're exactly right. Ronnie Bradley, the senior fullback, 5'9" and 219, sets this whole play up. Good block by Jonas Jennings and Mike Lucky and Chris Terry on the right side.
You see that I like this, and it shows the leadership and maturity of Stinchcomb.
Well, he's still in the ball game.
He's still in the ball game. The arm is wrapped up. They got the arm immobilized, and he's up cheering with people. He had a long talk with Kelvin Williams at the end of the quarter, talking to him about what to do, about to Carson. So that's what makes your ball club whole.
That's what you talk to. You're as good as your senior leadership. There's the block by Bradley, the block by Terry. Just everything inside. Miles Lucky again with a nice block. With Jonas Jennings. Melandis Gary, the senior transfer. He transferred from Marshall with Jim Donnan, gets in the end zone.
And gives us an opportunity. Larry Beal, what do you have for us?
I got a good one, Ron. Cal in Arizona. You know, the Bears can do more than hit you over the head with a Nobel Peace Prize. Reverse to Davian Douglas. Nobody open. He won't throw. Takes it in himself. 27-23. Arizona under 2 minutes left trying to run out the clock.
You know, Larry, that's a new scoring play in the Pac-10 this year, that you do a somersault into the end zone. But Arizona did it, what, against Jenkins, the quarterback. I'll tell you, we have had a good one here tonight. Georgia now stretches that lead to 11 points, though. And Auburn knows there's a lot of time, 14:55 left in this ball game, but they've got to come back and answer here. Holloman to kick it off for Georgia. Keith Cooper. Oh, my goodness. Didn't see him coming, but certainly knew that Robert Arnaud was in the ballpark tonight. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Keep my eye on Gabe Gross. Have done so all game. Ron, Mike, you have to give a lot of credit to the young man for passing as much as he's had. He's been very brave, hung in there. However, as we go into the final 15 now, the big concern for the offensive coaches is the lack of velocity that he has in those passes. Really showed up in the last series, and this is where the injury is really going to come to the fore now in the final 15 minutes if he can't pass accurately over 10 yards.
Okay, Adrian, and it will be obvious. You're right, so we'll watch it.
And he's taken some shots, Adrian, in this ball game.
Blitz off the corner. We go with the running play, and there is not much there for DeMontre Carter. Did a good job, actually, to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, right on cue, we're going to see the hits that Gabe Gross has sustained tonight from this Georgia defense. Got knocked to the turf here. Gets the blitz by Champ Bailey and gets hit in the back on that play, and then gets pressured up in here by Stroud and Antonio Cochran and Richard Seymour. So he has been on the grass a bunch tonight.
And for all of you that think that that's just truly a glamorous position to play, look at those replays again. Quick pass to Carson. Bailey, and that is a great job of concentration by Bailey. Larry Mann was just right there to eat him up. As soon as he caught him, it's good for the first down.
Good velocity on that football. I know Adrian's keeping watching him, but that's a good throw to Carson Bailey and a good hit by the safety Larry Mann.
That's as well as he has set up and thrown over the top tonight.
I think he's been more effective on dash plays and sprint outs. And boots.
14 of 27 for him tonight. 190 yards. And Larry Beal, let's check with you again.
All right, Ron, Texas Tech, Red Raiders down 8. Rob Peters to Rudolph. Rendy for the touchdown to go for the two-point play. Peters, Tim Baker, the touchdown maker, tied at 28. Ricky's got 136 yards rushing, 78 more to get the record.
Well, he may have an extra period to get it in.
That looks like a heck of a shootout in that ball game. Texas Tech, Spike Dykes, trying to prove his record for the Bulls.
This incomplete. Eric Lowe was the closest man to it, but Gross did the wise thing. He just got rid of it.
Almost looked like he decided to run the football and then ran into Brandon Miller, the linebacker, number 51. Big third down play here. Here's Gabe Gross. Now he decides to run. It opens up. There's Smart stepping inside there, and Brandon Miller.
Third down. Gross settles in the pocket, drills the ball, and just underthrown. Clinton Robinson was the guy that he wanted, and Auburn will have to give up the ball with 12:44 to play.
He's carrying his right arm, Gabe Gross, as he comes off the football field. I'm sure he's playing hurt.
So Zills will kick it away, and Michael Greer is the single safety for the Bulldogs. Far and away the best one of the night. All the way back to the 11-yard line. And normally when you have a kick that far, you outkick your coverage, but the Tigers did an outstanding job as Kenny Kelly was down there to cover that 53-yard punt.
There is no limit to where it can take you. A leather-trimmed and preferred suede interior, heated front seats, and dual zone temperature control. The winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Ownership Experience. The most luxurious minivan you can buy. Chrysler Town & Country. We call it limited. You'll call it unlimited. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Now, get 1,000 cash allowance on Chrysler Town & Country.
Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service presents When All the Ballots Were Delivered. In 1984, a quarterback who had become the all-time total offense leader won the Heisman Trophy. Can you name this outstanding college player?
Send your customers two-day packages with FedEx and we'll deliver, even on Saturdays, for an extra $10.
Send your customers 2 to 3 day packages with priority mail and we'll deliver, even on Saturdays, at no extra charge.
Send your customers 2-day packages with UPS and we'll deliver. But not on Saturdays. Sorry.
So, what's your priority?
In 1984, when all the ballots were delivered, the Heisman Trophy winner was Doug Flutie of Boston College. As the official delivery service for the Heisman Trophy, Priority Mail is proud to be sending out the ballots and delivering the vote.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars, and by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service. Foggy night on the plains in southeast Alabama, and it's Georgia leading this one 28-17 as we have 12:32 to play in our ball game. This is the worst start for Georgia tonight. Wiggins knocked out of bounds, and Big E, tell me if I'm right here. I think it's 11 catches now for the tight ends.
Ron, what they do is they go to 3 wide receivers, and one of them, of course, is a tight end, Jermaine Wiggins. And he's going to work. He's the inside receiver, and he's going to work against the linebacker. See, the linebacker has to get to him. That's number 50, Sean Shaw. Everything clears out. Jermaine Wiggins makes that catch wide open on the outside and then picks up extra yardage.
And, Mike, you notice also that they rolled it to the side behind Terry rather than the side behind Kelvin Williams.
Yes, and the more experienced tackling, they're going to run behind Terry.
Orlando Gary has 5, has 10. He is loose out to the 34-yard line, and that's a big first down for Georgia.
And another player, Ron, when you look at this ball game and when coaches grade tape, Michael Greer has had a big night. He's caught punts. He caught the touchdown pass. He blocks on the outside. You talk about a steady Eddie. Right there he is, Michael Greer. Sophomore, 5'10", 173. He has had an excellent football game tonight.
And 5'10" may be a stretch. Bradley and Gary, the running backs. Tough run right there. Is nice job by Auburn defensively. Marcus Washington comes over to make the tackle. Also Whit Smith.
Now Jim Donnan settled into more of a 2-back offense. Beginning of the ball game, a lot of no back, and used his 2 tight ends. Now he's trying to settle down his running game a little bit with Ronnie Bradley at the fullback position and Orlando Gary at the tailback spot.
On second down, again from the shotgun. Marcus Washington with pressure, and he's just going to run this one, pushed out of bounds. Whit Smith short of the first down, but he got what he could. Larry Beal, what do you have for us?
Well, you guys said it was going to be an old-fashioned Texas shootout. Texas Tech is taking the lead. It's the other Ricky Williams. They faked the reverse. They call him Little Ricky. He probably doesn't like that. 35-28 Red Raiders in the fourth quarter, under 5 minutes to go, and it's a final. Arizona has beaten Cal as the Wildcats improve to 10-1.
You know, Mike, the Cal Club is 5-5, and they have played some good teams very close this year.
In Arizona with an outstanding year.
Third down and 3. Got to take it out to the 45. Intercepted. Taven Field.
running route, trying to stick it in there, but unwise because Jermaine Wiggins was covered like a blanket by Haven Fields. Now Auburn got to get something going here on offense, Ron.
They started off on the Georgia side of the 50. Gross passes out to Bailey. Oh, my goodness. He puts a head down and runs over Corey Robinson. And the crowd reacts.
Karsten Bailey making a catch and lowering his shoulder against Corey Robinson. Corey Robinson knows he's going to hear this.
Good heavens. First down, the chains removed there at the Georgia 36. DeMontre Carter, nothing. Richard Seymour was just all over the place.
Well, we say this all the time about Joe Kynes and Mickey Matthews and the rest of the defensive staff for Georgia. They do a great job of substituting so that when you get to the fourth quarter, they got fresh defensive linemen. And Richard Seymour here just crushes DeMontre Carter.
Carter did the wise thing in starting down when he saw him. He could have lost the ball. Carter's only 5'11", 189, and Seymour 6'6", 290. As you look at total yards, the Bulldogs now over 500 for the ball game. Gross is going to be sacked. It's Josh Mallard, I think, who's going to get credit along with Brandon Miller.
Well, Josh Mallard came in here with 6 quarterback sacks, and I believe Gabe Gross was looking for Karsten Bailey, but he was covered by Champ Bailey. Here comes the pressure. They just get too much pull up inside. Push. They're heading the wrong direction.
9.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Big play right here for Auburn. They need to take advantage of this turnover. Seymour again with the pressure on Gross.
And you see all the time the substitution, like after Mallard made the sack, then you saw him go right to the sideline, and again a fresh set of defensive linemen come into the ball game. Richard Seymour on a nice little stunt up inside is going to hit Gabe Gross and force this punt.
5 punts by Zills tonight. Very good coverage kick. Spiral's going to turn over. Signal for the fair catch. That's got to be a flag. Yeah, they did not give him the 6-foot barrier.
Again, Michael Greer, he has his heels at the 10-yard line, and he makes that fair catch. Anything over his head, he lets it go. Smart play again.
Had a violation of the 2-yard belt, 5-yard penalty.
Good call. Timeout on the field. 9:05 to play. Georgia 28 and Auburn 17.
I love lobster. Boiled lobster, broiled lobster, jumbo lobster, baked stuffed lobster, steamed lobster, lobster Newburgh, lobster tail, there he goes again. Lobster roll, sauteed lobster. Did I mention lobster stew? Boiled
the Cook's Lobster House off the coast of Maine. They'll give you lobster just about any way you want it. But bring your Visa card, because you won't get a bite using American Express.
Sir, any suggestions?
There's boiled lobster.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You know, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So when I noticed a few flakes, I went for Head & Shoulders. And I love the way that it leaves my hair. And the flakes, no problem.
Head & Shoulders changes dandruff problems
into beautiful hair.
The mighty Chrysler.
The 300 idea is the idea of a powerful, responsive, nimble automotive machine.
The
all-new 99 Chrysler 300M, the most powerful sports sedan in its class.
As long as I've worked on this engine, I still get a tingle every time we open the hood.
The Chrysler 300M. The technology has changed, but the soul lives on. Lease the all-new Chrysler 300M for just $399 a month.
The High Life man knows that if the pharaohs had duct tape, the Sphinx would still have a nose. We salute you, duct tape. You help a man get to Miller time.
Alabama, Auburn. The Tide and the Tigers. No rivalry delivers more late-game excitement. Alabama versus Auburn at 7:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
28-17 our score, and it would appear that Gross may not come back because Miko Collier is warming up. Champ Bailey has just set a record tonight, 104 plays in this ballgame. We'll give you the breakdown in just a moment. Orlando Scary, 5, has 10, and running strong. Bailey, 46 on offense, 50 on defense, and 8 special teams plays. His old individual record of 103 plays came against Kentucky and Florida this season.
Nice, cool night. He's feeling it, wants to be on the field, make plays, the playmaker. An All-American for sure.
2nd and 1, said he did not pick up the first down, and Quincy Carter will. Somebody else we need to give credit for. We were talking during the timeout, and that's Michael Greer. The 36, the wide receiver. His dad was an outstanding football player at Georgia, also a football coach, and he's a heady player. Just like, how many times have you heard that? The son of a coach, and they're a heady player.
He has been a most valuable player tonight for Georgia. He has made big plays, and his impact won't be noticed a lot of times because he's the steady guy on this Georgia football team.
Has an 80-yard touchdown reception. That came back in the first half. Wiggins in motion. Gary, because Georgia would love to just keep this on the ground and let that clock run on down. Larry Beal, let's check with you.
All right, Rod, Texas and Texas Tech. Major Applewhite looking for Wayne McGarity. 4th touchdown of the game for McGarity. He's a bad man. Tied at 35, Ricky Williams, 141 yards rushing, 63 away from the record.
Well, as we come back here, there is a flag.
Illegal shift against the offense. The penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Looking more and more like overtime up there between the Red Raiders and the Longhorns.
And you give Mack Brown some time there, and they say he's doing a great job recruiting right now. We'll add to the players that he already has there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. And Spike Dykes, one of the really good guys in the coach. He's a favorite of a lot of us. 2nd down and 9. Carter sets deep. Bouncing around, gets it off to Bailey. And Champ is going to be tackled by Casher. He tried to turn it back upfield, and there's another flag down.
Boy, this was a late throw by the umpire.
Offense got an ineligible receiver downfield, 5 yards.
And that's why it was a late throw, because he waited for a lineman to go by him. An observant umpire. They were trying to get Champ Bailey across the middle on zone coverage, and Quincy Carter hit him, but the lineman downfield.
Well, we said Gross may be done for the evening. He has his head
I think he is done. He's going to try to make his point to his coaches that he still can get in there.
Second down and 14. They need to take it out to the 36. That ball came out of his hands. We talked about all the moisture and the fog that's coming in here, and Quincy started to throw it. I mean, it just slipped out of his hands.
New play in the playbook. Looked like he was trying to hit Champ Bailey on a quick screen.
It is really getting foggy. Now watch this. Sets to throw.
Where'd the ball go?
Well, Quince, whether you wanted it or not, you're on SportsCenter all week long, I'm afraid.
He'll be on many SportsCenter.
Yeah, that's an even better point, Mike. That's an even better point. Third down. Crowd is coming to life because they want the football back. Under 7 minutes to play. It's Bailey. Turns the corner and is going to take it out across the 20. Haven Fields finally got him. Adrian, what do you have for us?
107 total plays and counting. What Jim Donnan does over here, Ron, he'll yell out champ package. And he told me before the game, he goes into this package every single time he needs champ, depending on down and distance. There hasn't been a play yet. Offensively, defensively, special teams, where he stepped right up and said, get me in there as quickly as I can.
Wynn Kopp stands back to punt, and I have a feeling he'll be very rapid in getting this one off. He got one block just a moment ago. Their catch is signaled for and made at the 40 by Clifton Robinson. Will Gross come back in? Right now it would appear. Commercial coming with 5:41 left in our ball game, and it's Georgia by 11.
Are you concerned?
I'm crazy.
Bicycle Company, the new professional full-service bike shop located in downtown Rome.
Well, I'm crazy.
Your best choice for bicycles with Fisher, Diamondback, Giant, Cannondale, and Le Mans.
Well, I'm crazy.
Offers a full line of clothing and Giro helmets for women and men, cycling shoes from CD, Northwave, and Vans, and professional service from our plumb crazy staff that includes fully certified bike mechanics.
Well, I'm crazy.
217 East 1st Street, Rome, Georgia. Give us a call at 291-7111.
Makes Owens King Menswear special? The finest quality and classic styling in sportswear from Woolrich, Cutter & Buck, Hart Schaffner & March, and the Greg Norman collection. Elegantly tailored suits and sport coats for corporate and social occasions. See what Austin Reed, Hart Schaffner & March, and our own Clock Tower collection have to offer. Expert alterations and exceptional personal service make Owens King Menswear a true specialty clothing store. Owens King Menswear, 417 Broad Street in historic downtown Rome.
It's the Chase preseason NIT on ESPN. First up, top players in the country get it on in back-to-back second-round action. Then at midnight, they hurt you from the inside, they kill you from the outside. Arthur Lee and the Cardinals try to tame the Mustangs. Second-round coverage at 7:30 and 9:30. SMU Stanford at midnight. The Chase preseason NIT, Wednesday on ESPN.
5:41 left in the ball game. Gross is there, and I'm surprised, Mike.
Well, he's taken a lot of hits. This is his last pass he threw, and you can see it wasn't released well because of the pressure, and then he got hurt. Went over to the bench. He got the news he wasn't going back in, threw the phones down. Not real happy. There goes the cord. But then I think he talked him back into allowing him back in the field.
Well, sure have thrown a completion there. Demontre Carter, the pass was to him, and he just let it go. Corey Robinson with the cover. 15 of 32, just over 200 yards, 2 intercepts, and a touchdown.
Yeah, one of the interceptions, he was hit as he threw the blitz by Champ Bailey, so he's had a pretty good evening. Made some good throws, made some high throws, but he's taken a beating here in this Georgia game.
He really has spent a lot of time on the turf. Rusty Williams in motion to the top of the screen. They set up the screen pass. Demontre Carter, he was being embraced by Leroy as Antonio Cochran was rushing hard against the pass as they tried to set it up.
Well, Marlis Leroy on that play was a spy because they had a game going on with their defensive lineman, sat him right in there for the screen pass, so he would have made the tackle right away if the play was caught.
You know, his name's hard to say because you think it should be Leroy Emarlis, but it's Emarlis Leroy. Senior out of Albany, Georgia.
I agree.
Gabe Gross knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And is that a late flag that came in there? No, I don't think so. Marcus Stroud got a hand up. The defensive front has done a nice job.
Well, that's their strategy. Substitute to the fourth quarter and have fresh people chasing the quarterback. Number 97, Marcus Stroud, who's 6'6", got his hands up and deflected Gabe Gross's throw.
Another good coverage kick. Driving spiral. And Greer runs away from this one. Just what Mike said. He got to the 10, and he did not retreat anymore. Well, coming up after this game, Residence Inn College Game Night. Chris Lee and Kirk join Larry Beal with a full wrap-up of the day in college football. It's followed at 11:30 Eastern by Sports Center. The latest on the NBA lockout, preview of tomorrow's NFL action, plus hockey scores and highlights. Jim Donnan across the way as his team comes on the field. I want to make sure we talk about this. He was really angry before the ball game tonight. In fact, you got a chance to see him. You talk about what he was angry about, Mike. Wiggins in motion. Gary going to take it for a gain of 3. What was he hot around the collar for?
Well, when I visited with him on the field before the ball game, he said a lot of people came up to him, and there was some report, I don't know
one of the networks.
One of the networks said that he was going to be the new Oklahoma coach, and he said that's totally untrue, totally unfounded, and he said all that's going to do is hurt my recruiting. He says somebody's got to straighten that out, because he said that's just not a possibility, not even anything. So he was really upset, and he wanted to make sure he got his point across, because he knows recruits are watching TV all the time, and he wants to make sure they know he's going to stay at Georgia.
Well, some reporters are just not very responsible. They think they throw enough against the wall, something sticks, and it makes them look great. And that's wrong. Gary's going to take it close to the 30-yard line, so it'll be about a 3rd down and 2. And Larry Beal, what do you have?
Crazy finish between Texas and Texas Tech. 3rd and 5 for the Red Raiders. Rob Peters in the final minute hits Kyle Alleman for 31 yards, setting up Peters on the keeper. Touchdown, 42-35 Red Raiders. A Tech win gives A&M the Big 12 South title.
Well, congratulations to Spike Dykes. That is a really good come-from-behind victory against a Texas team that had won 6 in a row and had a lot of momentum.
Good year by both of them.
Yeah, that's right. 3rd down and 2. Gary, whoa, does he get blasted at the line of scrimmage? Weldon got credit for the tackle, but I think Karsten is the man who got his headgear on him first. You could hear the pop up here.
Leonardo Carson with a good move inside, making that hit.
So there's a timeout called. Georgia has 1 left and Auburn 2, as we have 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in our ball game. We'll be right back.
The marvel of its aerodynamics, the sheer exhilaration of takeoff. It's enough to make an aerospace engineer jealous. Chrysler Concorde. Ranked best premium midsize car in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. Now, lease a Concorde LX for $289 a month. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Come on. Oh, good. Oh, no. That battery.
No matter what my customers drive, they depend on AC Delco batteries. They last up to 30% longer.
I'm sure they do. Just give me the generic equipment, okay?
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
28-17, 11 points difference, and Georgia's about to kick it away. And Auburn knows that right now the clock is absolutely their worst enemy, but they still got a chance. This kick is up into that fog, and he could see it well enough. Clifton Robinson could, and he calls for the fair catch and makes it. Bill Oliver, the interim head coach here at Auburn. 22 days ago, Terry Bowden stepped down, and player at Alabama, assistant coach for 31 years, 15 at Alabama, 8 at Auburn. was a head coach at UT Chattanooga, 1980 through 83. And as a player or coach, 5 national titles. He's been associated with 10 SEC titles and 3 ACC titles. Gross, empty backfield from a shotgun formation. Got this pass, Karsten Bailey, open right over the middle. And Bailey shows you what kind of effort you get from him, regardless of the situation. That's good for 20 yards.
And, Ron, you mentioned that the job's up in the air here as Gabe Gross is going to find Karsten Bailey. He's going to drag route against Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey tried to go for the deflection and didn't get it.
Gross gets it complete, and I'll tell you what, Champ Bailey did not miss anything on that play as he was all over Markeith Cooper. Whoa.
And Ron, just to go on about the assistants, I think that the assistants here at Auburn are put in a very, very difficult spot to look at the sideline. They're running short right now, a couple coaches, but you know, when your future's at stake and you don't know what's going to happen and your family and your children at school, there's a lot of questions being asked. You don't know if you're going to be back. Recruits are asking a lot of questions. It's just a very tough situation for this entire staff.
Well, like I said off the top of the telecast, my greatest hope is that an answer is given fairly soon as this season is over, as far as who the coach is going to be. Then the assistants will know, but most importantly, the kids will know where they stand.
Yeah, and you respect the coaches here because they're giving everything they've got because of the players. They know that they've got these 2 games and they want to concentrate and focus on these last 2 ball games.
Gabe Gross got it complete. Clifton Robinson. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing there's only 2.5 minutes left. The fun is coming in. I think I'm back at the Rose Bowl. There's one of those 4th quarters there. Getting kind of hard to see. On first down, Gross slings this one well over the head of Karsten Bailey.
Gabe Gross has had a good evening. I think there was a breakdown in the pattern on that play. He will continue to look for Karsten Bailey. Try to get this in with it, get another touchdown in here and an onside kick with 2:17 to go on the clock.
Gross intercepted by Champ Bailey.
Well, Champ Bailey's had one of those games, Ron. He's been big in the big plays. He has made so many plays this year. Most valuable player of this football team. Gabe Gross trying to make something happen, trying to get the ball to Karsten Bailey. He's blanketed by Champ Bailey with the interception, and that's about all she wrote.
2:08 to play in this one. Gabe Gross with his head buried in his hands.
Ron, he's a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 6'3", 195. He's going to make those mistakes.
Plus the fact, you go back to the beginning of the year, he missed a month.
And one thing about this coaching change here, whoever gets this job is going to have a very young football team. Got most of these players back.
The difficult thing about whoever gets this job, though, they open on the road at Florida State. They go to LSU. They go to Tennessee. They go to Georgia.
That's why they got everybody back.
Florida comes here.
That's no picnic. But this is a good job. This is one of the top 20 jobs in the country. Bill Oliver, Pete Jenkins down there, Rick Trickett, Jack Hines.
Melandis Gary takes it straight ahead as Auburn's going to call a timeout with 1:19 to play. Well, a great day for running backs next Saturday on ESPN. From the north, it's Mike Cloud of Boston College, going head-to-head against West Virginia's Amos Zaraway. Then Wisconsin's Ron Dane. And then down here in the south, we'll take a look at Alabama's Sean Alexander. Start the day with College Game Day at 11, followed by BC and West Virginia. 3 o'clock, Penn State versus Wisconsin. Then a primetime game from Birmingham. Auburn meeting Alabama from Legion Field.
Ron, I can tell you this, that Auburn is they're gonna lose this ball game tonight, but I'll tell you, when they get in the film room tomorrow, there'll be new life in this ball club because they got the war Saturday, and they believe they can beat Alabama, and that is the big football game, and they can erase a lot of bad memories with a win against the Tide.
Yep, that they can. Tonight's Visa Players of the Game from Georgia, Champ Bailey, and what a night Champ Bailey has had. He set a personal record for individual plays, 116, an interception. Ryan Taylor for Auburn, 9 tackles, an interception, and a blocked punt. As part of their continued effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 on behalf of these athletes to the school's General Scholarship Fund. That ball is fumbled. It's still loose, and Georgia gets on it. Kelvin Williams, I think, yeah. Kelvin, who is subbing for Matt Stinchcomb, who injured a shoulder, makes the recovery. There's Matt. It's his left shoulder, and they have it immobilized. They have ice on top, and they have it immobilized. You can see the wrapping coming around his waist.
They'll be 7-2. They got Ole Miss, and then they got the battle against Georgia Tech. Fast improving Georgia Tech football team at the end of the year.
Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, moments ago, Coach mentioned one of the assistant coaches, Jack Hines, for Auburn. How tough do you think things are for him right now? This is Terry Bowden's brother-in-law. He's married to Terry's sister. When you talk about coaches not knowing what their future is, they really are the forgotten ones, and how difficult it must be for him, especially this past week. And, of course, with tonight's loss, and Alabama still yet to come. Tough times for the assistant coaches. I said earlier that players are the first ones forgotten. Well, I think sometimes the assistant coach is on a close second.
And, Adrian, just to add to that, you got Jimbo Fisher, who's had 14 years with Terry Bowden. So it's a tough situation for them to be in. But you got to drop all that. You just got to coach and focus and do the best what's best for the players.
Clifton Robinson signals for the fair catch. Now here comes a late flag in.
A 28-yard kick.
After the play was over, dead ball foul against the receiving team. It'll be first down and 10 after the 15-yard penalty.
Frustration. Yeah, it's always the second guy.
That's right. 522 yards in total offense for Georgia tonight. 64 seconds left in this one. Gross delivers and almost complete to Karsten Bailey, but they would have been out of bounds had he made the reception.
And Champ Bailey right on him again, Ron. He liked the challenge. He wanted to match up with Karsten Bailey tonight, and he did. Just keep adding those plays that Adrian Karsten talked about. He just keeps adding to them.
Well, it's truly incredible when you think about that number of plays in a football game for one human being. He's been doing it all year, even in the hot time of year. Gross, incomplete, couldn't hold on. Eric Lowe. And there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage on the near side of the field.
Defensive pass interference, first down to spot of the foul.
You're talking about, we're talking about the plays of Champ Bailey. Chuck Pignerick would like that, right? I mean, all the old-time football guys, they love the fact that Champ Bailey's playing on both sides of the ball. 58-minute player, right? Chuck Pignerick. Champ Bailey is close to 58 minutes. I don't a lot of plays.
Gross gets away from one and throws this one. Did he catch it? Yeah, caught it in bounds. Karsten Bailey. Rich Rovich, senior out of Bradenton, Florida, was putting pressure on. 33 for Georgia.
Ron, I was reading a Georgia paper, and might as well add this to it. The criticism of Joe Kynes and the defense of Georgia, and I don't understand that either.
You're kidding.
I mean, this is a ball club that's the future's ahead of them, but I think this is a very good defensive football team.
Gross got it away. This is low. And I beg your pardon, that's Rusty Williams, number 3. Arantis Grant will make the tackle on him.
And there's Joe Kynes, who's done another nice job, defensive coordinator of the Bulldogs. Gabe Gross, quarterback, has had a tough night.
Well, he grounds that one to stop the clock, and there are 22 ticks left on it. 28-17, Georgia leads it.
And you can see the hits he has taken and the fight that he has stayed in the ball game. We thought that we might see Nico Collier a little bit. They had him warming up in the Central Florida game last week. Didn't bring him in. He was warming up tonight. Did not hit the field.
Karsten Bailey, outstanding evening. 9 catches for 114 yards. Gross going to go long and almost intercepted. Corey Robinson was back there. And that was 4th down.
Ron, this Auburn team's given a great effort tonight. They came out ready to play. They just hit a Georgia football team that's coming off a week off. The word is that they scrimmaged a couple times and they weren't happy with their play at Florida, so they hit a hot Georgia team tonight. But to show again the resiliency of players, they're going to give their best effort. The cloud may be here, but this ball club has given an effort tonight.
You know, I'm not sure anybody.
No,
Georgia still has a center offense on the field, but that was 4th down. I'm sitting here thinking, I know I can count. And in fact, Georgia's about to be penalized, which they don't care. For delay of game, Al Ford throws the flag down. 14 ticks left on the clock. Gabe Gross, quite a gutsy effort by the freshman tonight. He got hit by everybody on that defense at one time or other tonight.
The machine gun.
Georgia strings it out, and that'll be the last play of the ball game. Down to 6, down to 5. So that's the end of the ball game. With our final score, Georgia 28 and Auburn 17. Stay tuned for Residence Inn College Game Night coming up next. And join us next Saturday for the Iron Bowl as Auburn takes on Alabama at 7:30 Eastern. For Mike Godfrey, Adrian Karsten, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's rejoin Larry Beal with College Game Night.